Okay na.
Hello, good morning. I don't have
Morning po.
a signal on my laptop, but I will try to connect using my other account.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Oo, wait lang. Ikuha na si laptop, B.
May I remind everyone, students, please turn off your camera and mute your microphones. For this session is being recorded. Thank you. Ma'am, naka-mute po.
Okay, good morning. I don't really have a signal on my laptop. So my presentation, which I am about to show with you, I will just read it. Kasi hindi nakaka-connect ang laptop ko sa internet. So I don't have the presentation. So I'll make it fast. Can we start?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, ma'am. We can start already. We can start now. Thank you po.
Our first speaker for today is Dr. Immaculate Falabi, the University overall faculty president. For her topic for today is all about personality development. Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. I am not an overall president. Ano ba yun? Okay. Anyway, let us highlight that. Currently, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Ginagarat pa ako kadadali-dali because I'm late. On the 8 o'clock, I'm so early for 8 o'clock talk. Just could die. It's my first time to talk at 8 o'clock. Anyway, highway, how are you guys?
Fine, ma'am.
I'm fine. I don't like to answer. I don't like to hear fine. Elaborate.
Not
What
so
did you
good.
eat? Oh, see? Kanina fine, tapos ngayon not all good. So, what did you eat
Not
for
yet po.
breakfast? No food yet? Pareho tayo.
Yes, po.
I just... Wow, nakakaingit ang sinangag. Ano pa?
Pancit Canton
Tuyo,
only,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Tuyo.
I so love pancit canton. What else? Tuyo. I like tuyo.
Imaginary ko na pa, ma'am.
Ha? Imaginary?
Tunsoy, ma'am, tunsoy.
Yan ang ulam last night. Tapos na inunon. And then this morning, hindi na ako nakakain. Supposedly, kakain ako ng prinitos. Kaya lang dahil nga it's 8 o'clock, all time, according to Hazel, I have to be here. Okay, so gladly I have 58 students. How many are you in the AVR? Ilan bang nasa
We
AVR?
can hear, ma'am. 10 po.
10 sa AVR.
Yes po, ma'am.
Tapos, yung iba, nasaan sila?
Officers lang po andito, ma'am, sa IBR po.
Ano pa?
Officers lang po ang nandito sa IBR.
Officers daw po mamang nasa AVR.
Hmm. Mas maganda yung picture ko dito sa phone ko. Anyway, highway. I am trying to connect still my laptop kasi nandito yung presentation ko. Alam nga naman, basa lang ako ng basa ng presentation ko. Sayang ng ginawa-gawa ko, oh. Look, may ginawa-gawa ko, look. Oh, may ginawa ko. Nakikita nyo ba? Nakikita nyo ba yung ginawa-gawa ko?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sayang ng presentation ko. May ginawa pa naman ako ngayon for you guys. Anyway, so I'll make it fast because you will have 9 o'clock. Tama?
Yes po,
Tama
ma'am.
ba? Okay. So, guys, you will be, let's make it not so formal. So, you will be graduating very soon. Yay! Are you excited?
Kung
And a bit
makagraduate
nervous,
da, ma'am.
Let's be positive. You will all graduate. Even my BEd students who are not yet passing the research, they will really graduate. Yay!
Yay!
So, that is something that you have to look forward to. I know that you will be encountering, I know that you will be entering the new stage in your life, which is a practicum, which is far different from the practicum that you have imagined. We are imagining a different practicum this year, and you will be the first one to have this kind of practicum. Nevertheless, it's also your opportunity to expand your capabilities and skills, knowing that you will not be doing the conventional practice teaching. Okay, it's a different. Let's just let us just be open and let's just be positive that these things will just will pass through with more learning, and with, of course, we will all be experiencing different type of experiences. Kasi kami din, we will also be your cooperating teachers, and then you will be our student teachers. It's very different. Anyway, highway, my talk today is about personality development. Sir Xavier, who happened to be the guidance counselor. I am no longer your guidance counselor, guys. Sir Xavier is now your guidance counselor. So I asked him to help me in discussing the stress management, and for him also to be known in the university, especially with the fourth year students, so that you will know him. And how was the talk of Sir Xavier on stress management? You already saw him and hear him and listen to him. So how was that?
The talk was so engaging, ma'am.
Okay, very nice. He's very active in his organization. As a matter of fact, he is the Archdiocesan Youth Coordinator of the Archdiocese of Cáceres. So he is holding a very challenging task now, as at the same time as our guidance counselor. We are so lucky to have him. Anyway, my topic will focus more on personality development. But you know, class, I remember when I was in UNC, I thought this subject, tinuro ko ito to college students. But are you aware that I taught this subject in one semester? Sarong semester yun na tinutokdo. Bako siya itong sararuan lang. So, instead of dwelling more on personality development, I chose one specific topic, which is how you will be making a good impression. Knowing that after this inset, we call it inset, after this step, you will be entering your practice teaching. This might help to make a first good impression, or to make a good impression. So, and this not will only help on your practice teaching, but this will help to the time that you will be applying for a job, whether whether it's in teaching or in the teaching-related jobs. So, how are you going to make a good impression? Knowing that, of course, pagka-graduate nyo, welcome to the real world. You will really be entering in the real world wherein wala na dyan yung teacher, wala na dyan yung estudyanteng label, but this time you will be entering really as a contributor of information or of skills in a certain institution or any establishment. So it's really an important that you make a good impression. So my question, do you want to be hired after your graduation? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, we would like to be hired after our graduation. I remember class, ilang taon na nga ako nagtuturo, sabi ko sa inyo? Wala na. Silence. Silent night. Wala idea. Ayun, hindi na ako magpatuloy. Wala naman sumasagot.
More than 10 years.
Okay, thank you for the answer, whoever is answering that. I'm teaching for almost 20 years. Actually, 21 years na. Halata ba? That's always my question to my audience. I've been teaching for almost 20 years. Actually, 21 kasi 2021 naman. I started teaching at the age of 19. And thus, 19. Tapos, never mind, tikong 15 ang grade ko. Anyway, my point here, it is expected that after graduation, you will be looking for work. And you will be looking for a job which is aligned to your course. Some would be entering a career which is not aligned to his course or to her course, but it is somehow related. So, after my graduation, I applied for a job. Ang dami. Pinamudmud ko ang lahat kong resume at application form. Kasi kailangan ko magtrabaho, kailangan ko maghanap buhay. So, pinamudmud ko siya. And luckily, I got one answer and I grabbed that opportunity. So, that's the time that I started.
Magkasubon sa imo?
Kanino yan? Jade Maceda. Kanino yan? Okay ba tayo dyan? Okay, anyway, let me go back. So, when I started, when I spread out my resume, I make sure that when I go to that place, I am wearing an appropriate clothes, I am pleasing on their eyes, kasi that matters. When you give your resume, you have to look good. I'm not asking that you will be wearing expensive clothes, definitely not. But when you give your resume and application form, you have to make sure that you are also good to look at. Remember, people, you will be marketing yourself. You will be selling yourself in terms of job. Kasi they will be looking at you. So when I made my activity to spread out my resume, I see to it that when I go there, I give the appropriate respect, courtesy to all the people in the establishment. Secondly, I do look good para if ever they will be thinking of somebody that they would like to hire, maalala nila, yun na lang, kasi mabait ang itsura, maganda ang itsura, hindi naman magandang super ganda, at least you look good and you look decent. Hindi yung pupunta ka, mag-a-apply ka, naka-tube, or naka-pek-pek short, don't do that, or naka-chinelas, don't do that, because your dress says a lot about you. Okay ba? Okay, so let me start. Personality dev. So when you say personality dev, it talks about your spiritual kabuuan. It's all about your emotional, your mental, your social, and your physical. So personality development talks about physical. Your physical development. How will you make yourself presentable? How are you going to make yourself look look good on the eyes of general public? So you will make sure na you will be using dress which is appropriate to your body, which is appropriate to your height, to your skin. Kasi siyempre, say for example, you are, let's accept it. May itim-itim ako, halimbawa ako. And then I will be wearing, when I applied, neon green. Oh, neon green akong dress. Ano kayang mangyayari sa akin? Masabi, hindi naman ako pinag-isipan na naka-neon green ako. So, and then make sure also that you look your hair, your hands, pagbigay mo ng ng resume, nakita, ay Diyos ko, ang dumi-dumi, or red ang nail polish, or black, ay, wag naman gayon. So first thing that you have to take into consideration your look. Oh, tingnan mo nga ang katabi mo dyan, kumusta kaya ang itsura niya? Ano itsura ng katabi?
Ma'am, mga aki po katay
Medyo
ko.
okay pa naman po.
Guwapo, ma'am, guwapo.
Okay naman.
Wow.
Cosplayer po katabi ko, ma'am. So, kamukha siyang cartoons.
Okay, sige. So, very good. So, take note of that, people, ha? When you apply, or even when you start with your demo, with your practice teaching, pag pina-open ng teacher yung camera, tapos makikita, wala kang dress, lalaki, nakahigda. Diyos ko, Lord. Nag-observe ko for synchronous class. Wag ganon. Second is your social development. So, how are you going to mingle? How are you going to start a conversation? How are you going to show that you are also interested to them? So, first thing is you accord the respect and courtesy to the people. So, dapat marespeto tayo regardless of their rank. Say, for example, you will go to this kind of school and you will be applying. Tapos, pagdating mo, nakita mo yung guard, di ka malang magsabi, good morning, guard, you are new in that. Mag-good morning ka sa lahat na makikilala mo, makikita mo rather. Because hindi mo alam, baka yung principal is just using a very simple dress. Kasi you are thinking, ay, baka ang principal always look good, looking expensive, whatsoever. Tapos makita mo isang lalaki na very simple, hindi mo pinansin, hindi mo alam, yung pala ng principal. So make sure you will be giving respect and courtesy to everyone. Whoever is that. Dapat lahat pantay-pantay. Hindi may pinipili ka. Okay. Third is your mental. It talks about your mental development. Your disposition, your volition, your ability to decide, and emotional. Alam naman natin how stable are your emotions. Are you easily angered? Or madali ka bang maapektuhan? I-stress ka agad-agad? Simple lang, labayaan ka lang kang tricycle, ang guton ka na, makikipag-iwal ka na, or hindi napasala lang si pagpundo sa imo kang padyak, ang gut ka na. So, or natutong lang si kinakakan mong tunsoy, ang gut ka na. So, and that's one. And of course, our spiritual. So, this encompasses our personality development. So, yun ang kabuuan ng personality development. Not only our physical, when you say personality development, it does not only talk about our physical look, but all in all yung nabanggit ko. Okay, so let us start on making a good impression. How are you going to make a good impression? Pag practice teaching, ano kaya dapat natin gawin? Sa ilang hiling nito? For you to make a good impression to your cooperating teacher. Sige daw. Baka naman may gusto mag-answer. Oy, people. Ano sabihin? Okay. Oh, people. How are you going to make a good impression to your student, to your cooperating teacher?
Follow the rules and regulations po niya. And then
Okay, what else?
always go to work early.
First of all, ma'am,
Okay.
we need respect.
Okay. Ano pa?
Even though you're tired, ma'am, you're always smiling and you're always be in a good posture. Tsaka dili po
Okay.
ano yan, magmaktol.
Okay, wag mag-a-attitude. Okay. Ano pa?
Ma'am, be confident po.
Okay. Ano pa po?
Obey first before you
Make
complain.
yourself presentable, ma'am.
Okay, I like that. Obey first before you complain. Ano pa? Okay? It seems like my talk is over. You're done. Goodbye. Okay, ang gagaling niya na. Yun lang naman yan eh. How are you going to make a great impression? Great first impression. Yeah, your answers are also correct. Your answers definitely are correct. And I hope you will remember those things. Lalo na, let us start. Be on time. Someone you are meeting for the first time will not be interested in your excuse for running late. So please be on time. Say for example, your cooperating teacher gave you the time na nawala ako. I'm back.
Welcome back, ma'am.
Nawala ako, biglang nag-off yung data. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Kapag umaalis ako, bumabalik naman ako. Hindi katulad ng iba dyan.
Sana all.
Kapag umaalis ako, I'll make sure na bumabalik ako. Anyway, balik na tayo doon. Kaya lang, isipin natin kapag bumalik tayo, may oras pa. Hindi yung kulang na yung oras.
Hala.
Hala! Pamangisi lang. Mas friend mo na ako, picture ako. Okay, balik na tayo. So, be on time. Make sure that you will be on time. Sa synchronous class, pag demo teaching nindo, pag final demo nindo, and when you apply, be on time. Wala pa kayong karapatan ma-late. Wala pa kayong karapatan ma-late. So, that will make you a good, it will be remembered that you are always in time. So, I remember, ko itong eskwela, na pero may talagang amay, si Len. Karagutong pa ako sa other school. Every time na mag-meet kami, pero may on time si Len. As in, ang classroom is 8 to 11 o'clock and she is there before 8 o'clock. From the very first time and up to our last day of classes. As in, hindi ko siya makakalimutan. Siya lang yung estudyante ko in my lifetime na talagang on time. Ang iba, on time sa una, sa mga susunod, hindi na on time. Okay, next. Present yourself appropriately. So, how are you going to present yourself appropriately? It's the first day of synchronous class. How are you going to present yourself appropriately? Oy. How are you going to present yourself appropriately? It's the first day of class. Wala na naman akong estudyante. Teachers!
Paulit daw po ng question.
How are you going to present yourself appropriately? How are you going to present yourself appropriately? Say, for example, it's first synchronous class. And the cooperating teacher will tell you, oh, please be on time, Razol. On time ka naman. And then sabi ni Razol, okay, sabi ng cooperating teacher mo, ito ang mahirap sa online. Hoy! Hindi niyo ba ako naririnig? Nagugutom na lang ako. Kakain na lang daw ako.
Ma'am.
Ang puto. Kasi ang tagal-tagal sumagot.
Rinig po, ma'am.
Naririnig ko. Ano? Ang sagot. Kain na ako.
Introduce first po.
Okay. Ano pa? Fourth year, parang hindi kayo mga graduating students.
We will teach on time po, ma'am. Then, ma'am, we will make sure that we are prepared and ready for para po makita ng students na ready kami sa pagtuturo. And
Okay,
sana maging nice po sa students.
Okay, very good. On your first day, when you introduce yourself, you will be on time, you will dress good, and then make sure that you have also prepared. Nag-prepare naman kayo. Hindi yung you have also prepared for that. Hindi yung basta lang ka mo basta lang ka mo okay na. Mga aki, preparation. You have to prepare for that day, for that first day. Look good. Huwag yung naka-sleeveless or nakapambahay, nakapajama lang. Huwag yung ganun. Okay. Number 3 is be yourself. You have to have the courage to be yourself. So don't pretend like when I ask you, oh, Jessa, introduce yourself. So make sure that Jessa, prepared your speech on introduction para mas kahit papaano, hindi ka makakabahan, hindi ka nervyusin. Lalo na ngayon, it's online, you have all the chance to read. Unlike nung face-to-face, hindi ka makakabasa. But since it's online, you can read the introductions or the speech that you have made. Hindi yung online na nga. When I ask you, Vivian, introduce yourself. Tapos nagkakamot-kamot ka pa, hindi mo alam sasabihin. So, you have to prepare for that. And as you prepare, you have to take note that you have to be yourself. Huwag yung mayabang ka or nagpapakyut ka or feeling mo magaling, sobrang galing mo na. Just be yourself and be humble. That will create a good ambience in your online classroom. So be yourself. You just share what you feel you need to share. You just share what you feel na yun ang appropriate information that you have to share. Huwag yung ang dami mo ng kwento or ang dami mo sinabi. Remember, the more chances that you share information na hindi naman kailangan, that's also more chances for you to make mistakes. Okay, next. Number 4. To make a good impression, have a winning smile. Yan. You have a... try nyo nga. Ang winning smile. Tingnan ko nga. Ang winning smile ninyo. May I see? You can open your video. I want to see your winning smile. Ayan na naman tayo. Wala na naman mga imik ang mga estudyante. May I see your winning smile?
Show you.
Ayan. May nakita na ako. Ang iba, may I see daw? May I see your winning smile? If you want to graduate, I want to see your winning smile. Wala atang gusto mag-graduate dito.
Ma'am.
Nag-edit na po ko.
Yan, si Leia, si Donji, mag-isi na. Si Sepang, gusto mag-isi dyan, tanaugmat, mag-graduate na sinda. Si Iba day gayod. Paki-take note daw, Hazel, ang mga day nagingisi.
Malabo yung camera.
Ko nagluwas.
You have to have a winning smile, guys. If you want to be a winner, you have first to have winning smile. Practice niyan every morning sa mirror. How am I going to show the world of my winning smile? Because I will be a winner. It's all about claiming. I-claim mo, I will be a winner, and you have to do something. Hindi naman you keep on claiming that you will be a winner and you are doing nothing. After smiling, you will go to bed and you will still continue with your daydreaming. That is not a winning activity. When you practice your winning smile, you have to also practice your hard work. Okay. In order for that winning smile to be realistic or to happen. Okay, so winning smile. A smile is the prettiest thing you can wear. So when you enter your first day as a practice teaching, do not forget to show your winning smile, not only to your cooperating teacher, but to your students, because you will be the source of inspiration of these first year, second year, or third year students who will be like you in the coming years. Okay, so make sure that you will be inspiring them, that you will be somebody that they can emulate. Okay, number 5, use small talk. When you say use small talk, do not exaggerate many things. Say, for example, your cooperating teacher asks you, Michael, you discuss about these things. So when she asks you to discuss about these things, you focus on that thing. You can integrate some information, but do not expand that to the highest level na ang layo-layo na sa yung topic. And another thing, when you use small talk, yung small talk mo is is composed, o yung ang laman nun, the content of your small talk are the informations which are necessary for the topic. Wag yung small talk na nga, tapos yung mga informations pa nang galing sa yung mga bibig, ay wala naman kasi katuturan. So, when you say use small talk, this small talk, it may be short, it may be small, but it has an impact. Maaalala ka ng mga estudyante mo. Hindi yung, ay, si sir or si ma'am nagturo yun, pero di ba ito may alam turok para istorya lang ba niya ito tungkol sa buhay niya? Kung paano siya naging student teacher, kung paano siya mag-graduate. So, yun. So, it's not the topic, it's not about your life. It's about the topic that you are asked to discuss. So, as you give your discussion, as you give your demo teaching, dapat nakapag-practice ka. Another one on the small talk. When you use small talk, when you apply for a job, and you have to remember that use small talk. When what is asked to you, yun lang ang sasagutin mo kung mapupwede. Because as you deliver more information, the one who is interviewing you will also be thinking of more questions because you are also divulging informations which are not necessary sana. Kaya lang, since you mentioned that will be the source of another question to give birth to more questions. So, whatever is asked on you, yun lang sana ang isagot ninyo. And the sagot should also be something na worthwhile to listen at. Okay. Number 6, be open and be confident. Confidence breeds success. Success breeds confidence. So, be confident. And you can be, yung hindi naman yung sobrang yabang na, sabi daw ni Ma'am Kulit, I have to be confident. Yes, you have to be confident. You have to believe on yourself. Kung ang iba nga naniniwala sa'yo, maniwala ka rin sa sarili mo. Or kung wala ka naniniwala sa'yo, dapat ikaw ang maniwala sa sarili mo. So, be confident. And how are you going to be confident? Paano ka magiging confident? Sige nga, mga estudyante, 4th year. How are you going to have that confidence?
Ma'am, I think if you are prepared enough, you don't have any worries to be rejected for everything that you are going to do. Thank you.
Ma'am, additional po.
Sige.
Para po sa akin, ma'am, when I experience na mag-demo teaching po online, nagiging confident po ako, ma'am, kung well-prepared po ako, tapos yung lesson na i-deliver ko, yung parang practice ko na po siya, gamay ko po siya, parang eto na yun, napaghandaan ko to, napag-aralan ko to, yun po, ma'am, yung nagbibigay ng confidence sa akin.
Okay, very good. Totoo naman po yun. The answers of the two students are correct. You will be confident if you have mastered what you will be teaching and you have prepared. Wala naman na student teacher na sobrang confident kung hindi sila nag-prepare. If they have been teaching for several years, pwedeng kahit hindi nyo muna pag-aralan ng bonggang-bongga kasi you already know the concept and you know how to deliver that. Pero if you are first-timer on the teaching field, you really have to practice for many years in order for you to have that mastery. So, in order for you to have the confidence that you need, for you to be confident, is you have to prepare for that. And if you can practice, I remember during the time na nagpa-practice teaching ako, bago ako magtukdo, aside from I have studied, I have prepared the appropriate instructional materials, what will be my motivation, what will be my IMs. Bukod doon, ano mang ginigibo ko pa noon? I do practice. Kunyari man ngayamay, nagpa-practice ako. I'm doing the teaching learning process. Nagtutukdo talaga ako na kunyari may mga may mga estudyante ako. I do practice before I teach in front of my students. Nung ako ay student teacher. So, please make sure that you will prepare for that and you have to practice. And more importantly, ikaw, tanda nito ha, I always say this to my student, you have mastered your lesson. Dapat alam mo ang gabos na aspeto kang lesson mo. Kasi baka magtanong sila, nakakahiya naman if you will always say, ay, class, I don't know the answer. I'm just being honest. Ito mo may assignment. Sunod na naman na aldaw. Hapot na naman sa estudyante mo. Ay, class, sorry, I'm honest. I don't know that answer. Huwag naman araw-araw hindi mo alam yung sagot. So, mag-aral naman. Kasi yung estudyante, hindi man yung nagreklamo, pero nakakaisip man yun. Masabi, bakit hindi ganyan si teacher? Laging tomorrow na lang. So, yan. Kindly, sabi nga ni Kayan, you have to be ahead of your student. So, number 6, be confident and you have to be open na baka I need more time to read, I need more time to research. Yan. Number 7, sinabi ko ito kanina, be courteous and attentive. Attentive. So you are cooperating, you have your cooperating teacher and you are a student teacher. So attentive ka, hindi ka na estudyante lang. You have to be attentive. Pag tinawag ka ng student, ng cooperating teacher mo, dapat lagi kang, tawagin nga kita, nasaan si Alicia? So, dapat attentive ka. Hindi yung, hindi naman ako tawagin yan kasi hindi naman ako estudyante, student teacher lang naman ako dyan sa klaseng yan. No! You have to be attentive the whole time that the teaching is teaching during the synchronous class. Kasi you are the student teacher. If the cooperating teacher will say, student teacher, take charge. Alis muna ako, mag-iihi lang ako, ikaw naman ang bahala. So, kung wala ka, if you're not attentive, hindi ka naman nakikinig, so, ano mangyayari yan? What impression will you be sending to your cooperating teacher? O pagbalik ng teacher, nag-discuss na ba yung student teacher natin? Masabi yung mga estudyante, wala naman po siya, ma'am. It will not be, you are not creating a good impression to your cooperating teacher. So, be courteous and be attentive. Lalo na if someday you will be applying. So, when your employer is talking to you, you have to be attentive. Bako yung, yaon ka, you are physically present, but you are mentally absent. So, courtesy costs nothing, but buys everything. So, if you are a courteous, sabi niyo dito, courtesy costs nothing. Makababayadan if you become courteous, but it buys everything. So, please remain courteous. Whether kanino man na tao, wag yung pipili, kay mabatiin ko ito si ma'am kasi cooperating teacher ko, yung iba hindi ko mabatiin, labot ko masila. Tapos naman ako sa inda. I am no longer their student like that. So, please accord courtesy to all people, not only to your teachers, but also to all people, especially in the institution. And especially in the community. Wag lang pipiliin kung sino yung re-respetuhin. Ibigay ang respeto doon sa mga taong or kahit hindi ka respeto, irespeto pa rin natin sila. Kasi it will define you, not them. Okay. So, and lastly, this is my last slide. Second to the last slide. The way you dress is an impression of your personality. O balik naman tayo doon under the physical aspect of personality development. The way you dress is an expression of your personality. So, if you dress well, you are presenting yourself well. So, I am not asking you to buy expensive clothes, designer clothes. No, just wear dresses which is appropriate to your body fit, to your body structure, to your tone, to the color of your skin. So you have to consider not only, hindi lahat ng gusto mong damit ay bagay sa'yo. May mga damit na kahit na gustong-gusto mo, hindi bagay sa'yo. At isipin mo yon. Halimbawa, you like a body fit, yung body con. Ako gustong-gusto ko yun, yung body con, yung hapit-hapit. Kaya lang, Hindi naman bagay sa akin. Para akong ibus. Kapag sumuot ako yun, parang ang daming ang daming nakikitang bulk or mga badges niya. Ayoko ng ganyan. So, pero ang ganda-ganda noon, pero hindi siya bagay sa akin. So, I have to accept that fact. Huwag yung ipipilit ko kasi gusto ko. Hindi lahat ng gusto mo pwedeng bagay sa'yo. O, di ba? Hindi kayo bagay. Hindi tayo, ano yan, sinasabi? Anyway, so the way you dress is an expression of your personality. So please dress well for the women and for the men. Hindi lang, and for the LGBTQ. So you have to dress well. So in order, di ba, you are giving respect to people. In order for you to receive also that respect, one consideration is your dress style. Oh, masabi ang iba, ay, ito ngayon ma'am lalaki bastos. Lagi ko ngayon sabi, whip, whew. So ano kaya ang itsura mo? Baka kaya ang itsura mo nakaka-pawit wheel man duman sa mga taong ito. So, you dress properly. Lalo na if you will be applying, ha? If you will be applying. And take note, you will be a future teacher. You are going to be a future, and you student teacher, bako lang future teacher. You are now student teachers. So, may kaakibat ng word na teacher. You have to dress well. I am not asking you, you dress it appropriately. Kung nasa beach ka, it's okay to wear swimwear. Walang kaso. Anyway, nasa beach ka na, ma'am. If you are going to attend a party, it's okay to wear party dresses. But if you are going to school and you are going to formal gatherings, please dress appropriate. And lalo na if you will be applying, if you will go to the office that you would like to apply, please dress well. So you will be creating a good impression, a good first impression. Okay, beauty gets the attention, but personality gets the heart. So beauty gets the attention, but personality gets the heart. It's okay to look good, but at the end of the day, what matters most is your good heart, rapport to the people. So, beauty gets the attention, but personality gets the heart. And alam naman natin, the personality is composed of several composition. It talks about your emotional state, your social state, your physical state, your mental state, and your spiritual state. So, if you have a good personality, you create, you will be creating, or you will be, you will get the heart of the people. Of course, yung beauty, yun ang una, yun kasi physical. Pero kapag natuklasan na ang kagandahan pala ng iyong mukha ay yung dinakabaliktaran ng iyong pag-uugali. So, eventually, mawawala na yung interest sa iyo. Pero, hindi ka naman kaganda ng bongga-bongga, pero you have a good personality, you get the heart of the people. Okay, so that ends my talk for today. I hope I have shared something that is remarkable to the future teachers and to the student teachers now. Good morning and happy Wednesday! Bye, Mom.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Ganda mo, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you po.
Ma'am, thank you po.
Kamsahamnida.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for the very enthusiastic and engaging discussion for today. The tips and advices that you've shared to us today will play a very huge help for us in bringing out the best of ourselves through the help of managing to improve our personality in different situations that we may encounter in the future. Again, thank you very much.
That's right, Belle. And also, what we have learned from Ma'am Colette today will surely create a positive impact in terms of the way we deal and communicate to the people in our society, in our teaching career in the future. Thank you so much, Ma'am, for the effort and time to speak with us today. Rest assured that all the things you have shared today will be kept in mind. Thank you so much, Ma'am. God bless and thank you. Hello, everyone. So we are waiting for our next speaker. So while we are waiting, make sure that you jot down all the important details of our discussions for today, which is very important to us. Let me say hello also to the people watching on our Facebook Live. We are live on our FB group. But I think that we are having some technical issues in our FB Live, so please bear with us. So a while ago, we have some time delay, so I wasn't able to welcome you all officially to our second day of our online seminar entitled Student Teacher Enhancement Program 2021. So once again, welcome to the second day of our online seminar. And also, I am very happy that we have a fine weather today. Unlike on the first day wherein it's raining cats and dogs. So I hope that this seminar will be good. So I think Sir Ibarrientos is joining us today now. So let us wait for him.
Our next speaker is Professor Jose F. Ibarrientos, CBSUA Assistant Professor 1. For today, he will talk about education in digital era and online safety, security, ethics, and etiquette. Sir, the the meet is yours. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir. Good morning,
sir.
Yeah,
sir.
Good morning,
can you
sir.
hear me? Nagkaglindo ko?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
To
Yes, sir.
the moderator, who's the moderator for this event?
The officer, sir. Hello po. Good morning.
Okay, Miss Hazel. Pwede ko bang i-off ang camera ko pag pag present ko, medyo nag-hang kaya ang laptop ko. Baka mag-freeze siya paulit-ulit. Si
Pwede po,
camera.
sir. Sige na po.
Medyo nag-freeze kaya yung laptop ko eh. Baka yung high-tech. Okay? Okay lang ba?
Yes, sir. Okay lang po,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, so good morning everyone to all the graduating students. Thank you for inviting me for your event today. So today I'm going to talk about three things. Okay, the first one is education in the digital era. Second is online safety and security. And the third one is about etiquette. Okay, so I'm going to start first with education in the digital era. So let me share my screen first. Wait lang, ano po? Medyo mabagal lang sa yung laptop. Ako kaya siyang high-tech na maray. Can you see now my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The whole screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes, sir. We're seeing it now.
okay. So, let me start.
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. So, let me start first with education in the digital era. Okay. So, this topic focus more on the educational system in the 21st century. So, what kind of education system we have in this generation? Okay. So, this will focus more on the teaching and learning process of the students. So we all know that the rapid development of new technologies and digitalization have greatly affected businesses or the business sector and the labor market. Our generation, today's generation, which is the digital era, presents a huge opportunity while at the same time it also brings some significant risks. So what are these risks that we are facing in the 21st century? Okay. Most businesses, of course, in the 21st century, will demand labor force with a new set of skills. What are these skills? So these are the 21st century skills that the business sector is looking for in this generation. And of course, our educational system is no exception to these changes. And we need to adapt to meet this new demand. As an educator, right? And you as a future educator, we are challenged to find ways to change the education system so that students take advantage of this rapidly evolving digital technology consciously and reflectively. So in today's world, technology is a major part of our lives. Alam natin lahat yan. Ano? Technology changed the way we think, the way we play, the way we live, and the way we learn. Everywhere you go, you can find technology. You can see, experience the presence of technology. At home, there are technologies. In school, there are also technologies. In offices, again, there are technologies. Even in malls, okay, going to malls like SM, Robinson, so E-Mall, tapos ayun ka magduman, you can find technology everywhere. So it only means that it is part of our daily lives, our daily activities. So whether you accept it or not, technology is part of our daily lives. Actually, it is so attached to us that we can't live without it. For some, okay? Do you agree with me? Na ang technology is too attached to us. Agree ba
Yes,
ka
sir,
mo or
indeed.
die?
Yes, sir.
Diba? Okay, so let me give you a simple example. Now you can't live without your uh without a technology, you know. Okay, so I know most of you will relate to this example. Diba? Let's say, for example, you're charging your mobile phone. Okay, so charge ka sa kamadali mo dahil malilate ka na, nawalat mo sa cellphone mo. Okay, arani ka na sa school, bigla mong kinapa si bulsa kang pants mo or hiniling sa bag mo, namayo si phone mo. So most of the time, ang estudyante will sacrifice na dawa siya malit basta babalikan niya lang si cellphone niya. Dawa pa yan mayong load, mayo man dyan matext na may matext sa imo, dahil mayo ka man jowa, babalikan mo ang mobile phone mo. Why? Dahil naroon ito naging sistema. Kasi uh, our mobile phones can do a lot of things to us. Diba? We use our mobile phones for chatting, okay? For texting, for calling, doing some research. Everything now is becoming digital. Okay? Most of siguro most of you are very fan of doing itong transacting online. Okay? Like purchasing mga products online sa Lazada, sa Shopee. Sometimes you also use your mobile phone for doing your assignment and doing your research. Okay, so everything now is on the tip of our fingers. Pindot-pindot lang. Okay, dikit na pindot-pindot. Kung meron kang data, if you have your load, madali mo makuha si mga information na gusto mo or order products locally or abroad. Okay, so tama ba ako? Tama? Di ba?
Yes,
Mostly,
sir.
tama lang ang sasabihin. Sasabihin, yes sir, tama ka po dyan. Okay? With the use of technology, our life becomes much easier, more productive, and very efficient. Okay? Technological advancement have had a profound effect on the way we learn and the way we teach. Uh, Earlier, I mentioned that technology has affected the way we learn. Okay? So there is a shift The landscape of education has shifted with the use of technology. We cannot discount the fact that technology has changed the landscape of education. It has changed the face of classroom setting, particularly the teaching and the learning becomes more dynamic, which means that you shift and change over time. You have to adapt with the changing environment. No? Kasi there's no permanent here on earth except change. So you must adapt to these changes. Okay, it also means that as your student evolve, so do you, and does your teaching with the use and aid of technology in the classroom, especially So with with the dynamic classroom in the 21st century education, teaching and learning process is now becoming more nuanced, more seamless, and it flows back and forth from student to teacher. Utilizing technology in the classroom can help facilitate a dynamic engagement between the teacher and the learners. This means that the students are more active and are involved in what they learn or they are involved in what they are learning. So this is the 21st century setting. Okay? Technology has made learning easy, interactive, and interesting. So in what way does technology made learning easy, interactive, and interesting? According to the National Academy of Science, since many new technologies are interactive, it is now easier to create environments in which students can learn by doing, receive feedback from their teacher or from their co-learners, and continually refine their understanding and build new knowledge. The new technologies can also help students visualize difficult to understand concepts, which make it more interesting for the students to learn, such as learning mathematics or learning science. I know most of the students, including me, I really hate numbers. Medyo masakit intindihon when it comes to mathematics. But with the aid of technology, okay, so it can make learning more interesting. Okay, so nagiging mas madali with the use of technology, especially the use of the computer or some application like a computer aided instruction for a specific topic or subject. Okay, in this slide, here you can see the timeline of evolution of learning. Okay, so this is the use of technology for teaching and learning. So the integration of technology in the classroom has changed the face of teaching and learning process and it has evolved over time. As you can see in the timeline, okay, we started with way back decades ago. Okay, so we are used with a blackboard and chalk type of technology. So the blackboard and chalk type of technology are termed as the non-digital teaching resources. Okay, then we move to whiteboard, the use of the whiteboard and the whiteboard marker. Then the transparency slides and the overhead projector. And here comes the use of the computer plus your laptop and your PowerPoint presentation in delivering your reports, discussion, or anything that relates to learning. So ginagamitan ito ng PowerPoint presentation. And I know most of the students who are here now experience the use of this type of technology, the PowerPoint presentation. Then we have the KAI or the computer aided instruction with the aid of web-based learning teaching tools. Okay, our VLP, okay, falls under the web-based learning tool. Okay, and followed by video conferencing, which are we doing right now. And now this is an example of video conferencing and the e-classroom. Our BLP falls also under the e-classroom. It is a virtual learning environment, the e-classroom. Okay, and so on. So where are we now at this point? Okay, as you can see in this timeline, we are now on the e-classroom kasi we usually utilize itong mga technologies for web applications. Okay, so ang VLPTA is a good example of an electronic classroom. Okay, the key concept behind the 21st century education in the digital era, okay, is the TPAC and the SAMR. These are the two most commonly known models for technology integration in instructions. Okay, if you want to integrate technology in your teaching and learning process of the student, you can adapt these two frameworks in your teaching and learning. Okay, I'm not going to discuss further on on these two key concepts. Okay, I'll just pass through this one. Okay, dahil man kita ma-discuss itong thorough discussion kasi it will eat too much of our time. Okay, so let's start with the TPAC. Okay, the TPAC stands for Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge. This framework was developed by two educational researchers, namely Punya Mishra and Matthew Kohler. Okay. TPAC is a technology integration framework that identifies three types of knowledge instructors need to combine for successful educational technology integration. So these are the technological knowledge. When we talk about technological knowledge, teachers and students must know itong mga technical know-how on how to operate a simple computer, a laptop, or a projector, an application, etc. At least you have that basic knowledge and skills using technology devices. The second is the pedagogical knowledge. In pedagogical knowledge, this is how you teach the content to the learners. And the third one is the content knowledge. This is the things that you teach to the student. Next is a SUM-R model. Okay, a SUM-R model is a framework created by Dr. Ruben Fuentedura that categorizes four different degrees of classroom technology integration. The SUM-R stands for substitute, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. The SUM-R model supports and enables teachers to design, develop, and infuse digital experience that utilize technology. The goal is to transform learning experience so they result in a higher level of achievement of the student. So these are the two frameworks that you can adapt, okay, when you want to integrate technology in your teaching and learning. So how today's student can stay competitive in the changing job market? Anyone from the audience can answer. Paano ba? Okay, so which means that at 21st century, you must be a skilled learner. Okay, you must be equipped with the today's skills needed by the business sector. Okay, so that you can be locally and globally competitive. How? Anyone from the audience? Okay, sige, ako na lang. Okay. The 21st century needs education system that promotes skills and competencies. These are the essential skills in the 21st centuries. These skills and competencies are known as the 21st century skills. I know this topic will be discussed further by Dr. Jason Danyas on your next meeting. Okay? Agihan ko lang ini, okay? Student of the 21st century must be equipped with the learning and innovative skills, sometimes referred to as the 4Cs, information, media, and technology skills, or the IMT skills for short, and the life and career skills. So these are the skill sets needed in order for you to stay competitive locally and globally in this digital era. Without these skills, it is very unlikely you will be unemployable. Okay? You must see to it that you have these skills mentioned. Okay? Or else you will be left behind. Kaya importante na pag-graduate mo in your college, you already acquired these skills to stay competitive in the market. Okay, so what does this picture tells us? Okay, ano napapansin niyo sa picture na ini? Okay, this is an example of a 21st century learner. Okay, student. Okay, no longer bring with him a big bag, a lot of books. Okay, so it changed the way student learn in this era. Okay, ang daradara na lang is what? Gitara, okay, may tablet, may headset, okay. So, yun na lang ang dara niya. As you can see, okay, the role of education in the digital era is transforming learners from digital native to a digital citizen. When we talk about digital native, okay, the students or learners are very multitasking. Okay? Nagsa-cellphone, listening to music while chatting with friends. Okay? Some likes to play online games. Okay? Ang social media present is perminyaon. Okay? Students are constantly online. Okay? And most of the students are dependent on mobile phones. Okay? Pag naroot ang mobile phone nila, pero itong half of their life is missing or half of their life is gone. Okay? Kasi very dependent na mga estudyante sa mga mobile phones ganyan. Kasi it's aside from it is portable, it can do a lot of things for the students. Okay, may itong surubahan. Mga teacher, bawal lang cellphone sa klase. So, bawal man magklase sa cellphone. Diba? Araw kayo ng subak ang mga estudyante. Ngayon na panahon. So, when we talk about digital natives, these are students who are the global citizen. Very creative, very active in learning. Okay? They are mission driven, okay? Civically engaged. Okay? They are fan of listening to music. Others are knowledge hungry, independent learner. They are connected, etc. Okay? So iyan ang characteristic of a 21st century learner. So these 21st century learners ay kamo ini ang tinutukoy digdi. Okay? Actually, when we talk about digital natives, these are students who were born together with the technology. Okay, kang pinangaki sila ang technology yaw na. So they can easily adapt to technology. mas masakit itong sa mga digital migrants. Sa mga digital migrants, these are itong mga oldies na, okay? They were born without the technology. So they find it hard to adapt with the changing technology of the time. Okay? Sa mga gurangta at sa mga gurangan na, pakaputan mo ng cellphone, habunin da itong mga touchscreen, gusto nila itong mga dipindot-pindot lang. Sabi nila, mas easier to use and manipulate kaysa dumasa nagpipindot-pindot. So, kung naiiling yun ito, medyo nasasakitan sinda mag-adapt to these changes. But for digital natives, easy for them to adapt to these changes. So here are the 9 elements of a digital citizen. How to become a digital citizen. So it's very important in the 21st century na you are a digital citizen. Okay? So according to Mike Ribble, okay, so he categorizes and identified the 9 elements of a digital citizenship. So according to Mike Ribble, digital citizen can be defined as the norms of behavior with regards to technology use. He identified 9 essential elements that help define how to best use technology in every school, home, and community. So these 9 elements are categorized into 3 primary categories. First is the respect, second is educate, and the third is protect. So let's start with the first category, the respect. Okay, the first one is digital access. When we talk about digital access, it is the full electronic participation in the society. So what do we mean by full participation in the society? This means the teachers and the school administrator need to be aware of their community and who may or may not have access to online resources. So educator needs to provide options for lessons and data collection. So ibig sabihin na uh, itong inaapodang bridging the gap between the digital divide for those students who have access to internet resources and for those who cannot. So our teachers and administrator should look for other options to deliver the lessons needed by the student. That is why sa VLPTA, we have synchronous, asynchronous, and the module base. Okay, so that magkaigawa maning other options to deliver itong lessons to the student. The second is the digital etiquette. It is the last part of my discussion, digital etiquette. So these are the electronic standards of conduct or procedure and has to do with the process of thinking about others when using digital devices. This is simply the proper behavior or action when you are online. So you must act in accordance with the norms, acceptable norms of the community. Okay, so you have to act properly, behave as a human being or a decent human being. Okay, not starting a flame wars or not being a racist, etc. Next is the digital law. Okay, this is the electronic responsibility for actions and deeds, and it has to do with the creation of rules and policy that address issues related to online world. In our case, in the Philippines, we also have a protection from hackers or itong intentional access to your resources or your computer. It is protected under the anti-cybercrime law. The next category, which is educate, we have digital communication. In the digital communication, it is the electronic exchange of information using using your email or using your messenger and other platforms that can send message electronically. Okay, so this means that all user needs to define how they will share their thoughts so that others understand the message. There are students who are very shy inside the classroom. It is a good venue for them to use digital communication to share what they feel, to share their ideas to others. The second is the second in the educate category is the digital literacy. Okay, this is the process of teaching and learning about technology and the use of the technology. So digital literacy also includes the discussion of media literacy and the ability to discern good information from poor information. This is referring to knowing what is fake news and a good news. Okay, so you must be digital literate. Okay, so you have um, to check whether the information you gather is true or not. Okay, that is me being a digital literate. Next is the digital commerce. Okay, the digital commerce is the electronic buying and selling of goods and focuses on the tools and safeguards in place to assist those buying and selling, banking, of using money anyway in the digital space. I know most of you, nailing kaya sa mga Facebook, Facebook post, itong mga you buy products online via Lazada, via Shopee, or any other platforms na that supports e-commerce. Nadakol man akong mga FB friends who are engaged in online selling. Okay, so this is called the digital commerce. So most of the students are now technopreneur. Okay, uh, at the early age. Okay, so nag-discard sila. Okay. The last category is to protect. Okay, first we have the digital rights and responsibilities. So those requirements and freedom extended to everyone in the digital world. So this area is area of digital citizenship is about helping students understand what they are provided opportunities such as access to the internet and the use of online products. These online products are the platforms are used in the internet. Now, they need to be diligent in helping others as well, such as informing adults of potential problems. So which means na you don't just care for yourself, but you care for others as well. Okay. Not everyone are expert when it comes to technology. Okay, if you are an expert, then you meet some newbie, okay, mga newbie when it comes to technology. Instead of shaming them, why not help them? Okay, cope up with technology and how to use the technology and how to properly use the technology and so on. Okay, that's being your digital rights and your responsibility to others. Next, we have the digital safety and security. This is again part of my last discussion, okay? But it is part of the elements of the digital citizenship. We have the digital safety and security. This is the electronic precaution to guarantee safety. What safety from where? Safety from hackers, safety from online threats like phishing, hacking, itong mga intrusion, okay, etc. Even itong mga identity theft, etc. Okay. And the last one is the digital health and awareness. This is the physical and physiological well-being in the digital world. So this means that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to uh, have to balance a healthy life. Okay? So, tong demo kaypuhan, magbabad dyan na 8 hours a day sa computer. Okay? To take care of yourself. Kasi it's not healthy na maghapon ka nakabangbang sa computer or sa cellphone mo, nagkakawat ka ng ML or nagbabasta ka ng Wattpad o ano mo lang ginilibo mo. So you have to balance everything, diba? You have to balance your health. Okay. Are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Yes,
None
sir.
so far, sir.
Points to be discussed. Okay, this is very important on your part. Okay, the role of technology in education is very vital. And the question is no longer if technology enhances learning, but rather how do we improve the use of technology to enhance learning in the digital era? So paano? Kasi technology is already here and it will improve in the coming years. So the question now here is how do we improve the use of technology in learning? Okay, my answer to this question is educators can adapt and use the Assure model. Okay, this is the answer to the framework, doon sa framework and TPAC and some are. Okay, the TPAC and some are focuses more on the integration of technology in the teaching and learning process, while the Assure model is a guide in crafting an instructional flow that can guide the teacher in integrating appropriate technology and media into the instructional process. It also refers to the systematic approach that the teacher can use when writing an instructional plan. Remember, day man gabus na lesson mo, pwede mong ma-integrate ang technology. So you have to choose which part of the lesson that you're going to integrate the use of technology. This model is composed of 6 essential steps. Okay? In planning instruction. Theoretically, this is a mental framework that a teacher consider. So let us first discuss the first step of the procedure, which is the analyze. Okay, with the learner at the center of the instructional process, the initial consideration is to get a clear picture of the learner's learning style, the age level, the interest, or the preference, their background, special needs, and cultural diversity. Now, let's remember that each student is unique with one another. They have different learning style. Some students are fast learner and some students are very slow learner. So in this step, okay, in this procedure, the teacher is required to know the individual learning capability of his or her students. The second step of the procedure is the state objectives. Okay? This is the main instruction guide that will direct the flow to reach the target. This is also known as the learning outcome expected of the lesson. This statement describes what the learner would be able to perform as a result of the instruction. So this is your the output after the delivery of your instructional plan. Okay. At the end of the lesson, the student will be able to itong objective 1, objective 2, and objective 3. So this will be the outcome. The third step is the select method, media, and materials. The teacher needs to decide Which strategy, materials, or technology would be best considering the learners and the desired learning outcomes? Okay, in choosing uh, the methods, media, and material will depend on the student's learning capability or abilities. Kasi there are students na uh, who are very good when it comes to visual. There are students na medyo mahina pagdangog. So you have to choose what type of method, media, and technology to use for your student. The fourth step is the utilize method, materials, the media, and materials. So here, in this procedure, the teacher decides which part of the instructional flow will a particular material or technology be employed in the manner on how it will be more effective to achieve the learning outcome. Okay, so di ka na mapili. Okay, kung sa part mo i-integrate ang paggamit ng technology sa lesson mo. And the fifth procedure, okay, fifth step is the required learners participation. Okay, student engagement is very important element in learning. Okay, so how do teacher uh, get the attention of the student to participate in the class discussion? So the teacher has to design sections of the lesson where learners are guided to participate and perform tasks with minimal or no supervision at all. Of course, you have to, uh, in your instructional process, uh, you're going to need your student to participate in a class discussion or the group work or activities. Okay? And the last sixth procedure is the last is the evaluate and the revise. This is the student performance. Okay, checking the student performance. Okay, some learning activities can be sufficiently evaluated by pen and paper. Okay, itong standardized test na ina-upload. Okay, itong nagamit ka ng test paper. Okay, so the pen and paper assessment. But there are other learning outcomes that cannot be assessed by simply using the pen and paper. Some learning outcomes can be assessed by the use of the rubrics or having some aggregate write-ups of using a portfolio assessment. So here, the teacher decide which is the appropriate for the intention of the evaluative activities. Okay, so you're now going to assess your students using, you can use a pen and paper, a standardized test, you can use rubrics, you can use portfolio as your assessment. Questions so far? Okay, so here are some of the example of educational resources tools that you can use in the 21st century. Okay, I know most of the online tools here are familiar to you. You know, the Google Suite, which we usually use, okay, in our daily discussion in your subjects. We also have Kidblags, YouTube, Prezi. Prezi is the counterpart of the Microsoft PowerPoint. Kaya lang, Prezi is an online. Edmodo is the counterpart of our Moodle. Our VLP is created by Moodle, ClassDojo, etc. So you have here other educational tool. Okay, before I continue with the second part of my discussion, are there any, are there any questions, queries regarding the 21st century education system in the digital era? Any questions so far? None of the moment, so very good. Okay, so our next topic is about the online safety. Okay, I know most of you are connected online. The question here is, how safe are you when you are online? How often do you share information on the web or to others? These are some of the questions that you need to address. Are you really safe online? So what kind of information you share sa mga social media platforms, okay, sa mga surveys, etc. Do you think your privacy is safe, your data is safe? Think twice before uh, filling up forms over the net. Okay, here are some of uh, these are the these are some of the following, some of your basic information, common information regarding a person or in you in particular. The first column consists of the type of information. This is actually your basic information. Second and the third column consists of information you usually share or not share online, usually social media and other platforms. Okay, we have the first name, last name, middle name, etc. Current school, contact numbers, name of your parents, name of siblings, your address, your birthday. Familiar? Is this familiar to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Ano,
Yes, sir.
saan ka usually hinahagadan mga Arageni? If you have to fill up your name, your school, saan?
Resume po.
Resume, no. I'm talking about sa online kita.
Sa mga promo, sir, sa ano,
Saan?
online, ano,
Sa
Application.
online promo?
Online,
Application online.
online
Okay.
application.
Okay. So, let's not limit. Okay. The online application is you have terms and agreement. Di ba? Pag nag-apply ka online, for example, naman sa job street, okay, may terms and condition duman kung how your data will be used by the job street. Okay. But there are other platforms that requires you to enter this type of information. This is very, it should be familiar to you, ang Facebook. Di ba? Sa Facebook is asking for your basic information. Labos na yaong digdi down sa FB. Okay. Now, here are the risks of sharing your information sa mga social media platform. Bako lang sa social media. This is not limited to social media but other online application and services. Okay, the first name. What kind of risk when you give your first names sa mga online, mga survey na ini sa social media? Okay? When you give your first name, it's not that too risky, but chances are the perpetrators already know a lot about you. Okay? You cannot just simply go to a room with strangers na not known to you, introduce yourself to everyone. So, hindi, akong araw ko ito. Okay? Hindi ka pwedeng hindi ka maging yung too complacent. Na sinasabi nga ni Kayan. I know most of you are very friendly, but people muna nindo magmasid. Okay? The next is the last name. Okay? The last name is, well, there's a small risk if giving your last name lang. Kasi hindi ka lang naman si hindi ka lang si De La Cruz sa Pilipinas. There's a lot of De La Cruz in Pilipinas. But if you give your first name and your last name, that is risky on the part on your part, ano? You will be vulnerable na pwede kang ma-search gamit ang mga search engine. Okay? Then, pwedeng, there are some, online application that matches your name. Okay? So, madali ka kaya ma-trace ng itong mga cyber criminals. Most especially, itong very common among Facebook users, itong identity theft. What more kung sinare mo ang complete name mo? First name, middle name, and your last name. Okay? So that will be a big risk on your part. Ako na yan, medium o small risk. Okay? Big risk na yan. Okay? What more kung dinagdag mo pa yung school mo, may cellphone number ka pa, kaag mo pa yung name of your parents. Usually, ang name of parents are used to retrieve your password, Kasi sa Facebook, inahagad ang mother's maiden name. So if you forget your password, sometimes you will be asked to know what is your mother's maiden name. So ginagamit yan. Lalo na sa mga bangko, when you transact in the bank, you will be asked what is your mother's maiden name for security purposes. But if you if you give all your information online, that's too risky on your part. Your address, okay, do not give your exact address, okay? That's stupid, okay? Kasi if you have if you have if someone has a bad intention against you, then give your address online sa Facebook mo, pwede kanyang madumanan sa harong mo. Madali man sa nahanapon yan using Google Maps. So, medyo it's very risky. And your birthday. Actually, ang very common when you give your information is the identity theft. Anyone can grab your photo, then replicate your basic information. If you notice, sa FB ko, I don't use my name. I only use my alias. Okay? There's no information regarding about me, my school, cellphone number, anything, okay? Even the address, etc., the birthday. Set ko yan as private. The birthday ko naka-private yan. But the other information asked by Facebook, disregard ko yan, skip ko yan. Okay? So, you have to assess yourself. Okay? So, how many checks have you shared? Kung ano duman ang pirmi mong share, how many checks you have not shared? And how safe are you when using the internet? Kadakol dyan, may mga sinasabi itong mga impostor, ngayon, sinda itong biktima kang identity theft. Paki-block ngayon si Aritini, paki-block ni bako ako ini. Okay? So you're a victim of identity theft. Siguro may kanggutan sa imong sarong tao, nag-ibo ka ito, or just having some fun. Either way, okay, it's bad, it's illegal, and it is punishable under the anti-cybercrime law. So you don't do that in any way, So, masama yan. So, what is internet safety or the online safety? So, when we talk about internet safety, online safety, these two terms are interchangeable. Okay, it is the knowledge of maximizing the user's personal safety and security risks to private information and property associated with using the internet, and the self-protection from crime in the general use. So this is just, ano to, hindi pang inaapod tong uh, being aware. Okay? Itong when you are online, there are risks that you're going to encounter. So you have to protect yourself all the time when you are online. So there are ways how to protect yourself online. You need to follow this simple, uh, smart tips. Okay. S for stay safe. Don't give out your personal information to people, places you don't know. Okay, kasi may naiiling man ako dyan sa FB, ano, may mga posts, ah, nag-groupie with the whole family on a vacation sa Boracay. Okay? Tapos ang caption, family vacation at Boracay, ATM. So you are just telling itong mga parabon na mayong tao sa laog ang harong nindo. Gabos ka mo nasa Boracay. Okay? So, kung nasa vacation ka, okay ka muna mag-post. Okay? Mag-post ka kung nakauli ka na. Kung kaya. Okay? Kasi if not, okay, kung mabakasyon ka, be sure na may wallet sa harong. Okay? May bantay. Okay? May mga caretaker ka mo or other relatives na pwede nindong mapakiulayan na kung pwedeng mag-stay muna sa harong nindo habang nasa bakasyon ka mo. Okay? Kasi you are just giving bad elements an opportunity na loogon ng harong nindo. Second is M. Don't meet up. Meeting someone you have only been in touch with online can be dangerous. Always check with an adult you trust. Okay? Ito sinasabi tang mga eyeball, ano, na-meet mo lang sa internet. Okay? Kala mo true love na. Okay? Tapos aalokon ka ng, let's have some fun, let's have some drink. Okay? That's very, very dangerous. Kapag may alak, may balak. Okay? Always remember that. Okay? A. Accepting files. Accepting emails, files, picture, or text from people you don't know can cause problem. Sometimes, email attachment contains malware. It contains virus, trojans, worm, etc. Okay, that can cause you itong cause you badly in terms of data loss, corrupted file, etc. Even picture can contain script. Okay? When you open a picture sa internet, lalo na doon sa mga underground website, okay, when you click it, sometimes na it contains script na that can trigger virus infection in your computer. So once your computer is infected with a virus, okay, or a Trojan, the hacker now can control your system, okay? Pwede na sila mag-alter ng mga files. They can get the files they want, vulnerable data stored on your computer. Baka ito, makuha nila. Okay? Sometimes kasi, people love to store their bank account details on their laptop kasi they are too forgetful, lalo na itong mga password, mga PIN numbers, etc. Okay, so that's very dangerous. Okay, next, reliable. Check information before you believe it. Is the person or website telling the truth? Okay, kadakol ganyan na. Being digital literate means that you know to differentiate between a good or a bad information, between a fake news or itong reliable source. So check whether your source is reliable or not. Kaya nga sinasabi nila, think before you share. Okay? You have to check first whether the information is correct or not. And letter T, tell someone. Tell an tell an adult if someone or something makes you feel worried or uncomfortable. So if you think na your computer is experiencing unusual behavior, okay, so it's not normal sa iling mo, you can consult an expert adult, okay, to check it for you. Okay, or some other things like if may nabubuli sa imo online, talk to mga adult on how to ignore to mga bullies online, etc. Okay, question so far? Very good. Okay, so this is my last topic for today. Net ticket. It's a combination of network plus the etiquette. So what is online ethics and netiquette? Okay, when we talk about internet etiquette or online ethics, okay, the other name for internet ethics is online ethics. It is the moral principles that guide the use of internet. It is simply the do's and don'ts when you are online. It also can be defined as the rules and regulations an internet user must abide with. So very simple, okay? These are simply the do's and the don'ts when you are connected on the internet or using the internet. So what is netiquette? Etiquette is a combination of the two words network and the etiquette and is defined as a set of rules for acceptable online behavior. So, which means it is the correct way or acceptable way of communicating or behaving on the internet. Sure, your action must conform with with the norms of the community. Dapat pirmi kang behave when you are in the internet. Do not do some racist things, kasi it's not a typical Filipino na baka makita mga racist, okay? Be polite all the time, be diligent to others, be kind to others, etc. So those are the proper ways. Don't start flame wars, okay? Mga talk shit na ina-upload na, bago ka maging, dapat maging toxic sa internet. Okay? Lalo na sa mga ML, kadakal yan ng mga fast talker, Ayan mo lang sinda. Just play, have fun. Okay? Maintain your composure, maintain your cool, kasi you know yourself more than they do. So, ibig sabihin na itong kagalang-galang ka, even online and offline. Okay, so these are the 10 core rules of netiquette. Number 1 is remember the human. What does this mean? Okay, so you must act as a civilized man. Okay, pag sinabi mong civilized man, we think first, think first before you talk. Think first before you act. Act civilized. Next is adhere to the same standard of behavior online that you would follow in real life. So, which means that your action must conform with the norms of the community. Whether it is online or offline, you must act in accordance with the standard norms of the community. Next, know where you are in cyberspace. Okay. If you are, if you join a conference, okay, you must be a formal conference, for example, a seminar, you must behave in accordance to the occasion you are in. Another is when you are in a group chat. Okay? Okay, kung may nag-start siya ng mga talk shit, okay, they mo na patulan. Okay? Just ignore. those individual. Ignore those person who are provoking you. Okay. Next, respect other people's time and bandwidth. Okay, sometimes itong nakakaano to itong kakawat ka ng Mobile Legend, kakawat ka. Tapos may mga nanggugulo, aapudan ka sa sa Messenger or aapudan ang phone mo habang nagkakawat ka, So, first you have to give time for yourself. Kung nag-relax ka man, you want to do something else, bako na lang pirmi ka na lang nakatutok sa work mo or sa mga assignments, you have to relax sometimes. So, you have to respect others' time and the bandwidth. The bandwidth here is, paggamit mo ng mga data mo. Let's say, for example, you're using the data of your mobile phone. If someone calls you, nagpe-play ka ng Mobile Legends, someone calls you via Messenger or via your number, ay sigurado ka, daog ka. Ang madadaog mo na lang yan sa last part kang kawat, defeat. O di, daog. Tapos ang kawat, bawas star. So, tayo ba sana to? The next is, make yourself look good. Okay. So, pag sinabi mong look good, cool ka lang. Okay? Itong dali ka ngayon ranihan, in person or in online, online o offline, dali kang ranihan, or pwede man itong inaapuntang you must be presentable, whether it is online or offline. Kaya itong nagkakatumang sa webcam, di ka pang karigos, magulo pa buhok mo, okay lang, di ka mag-toothbrush, di man mo parang ang breath mo kaya kasi naka-online. Just make yourself presentable para maging looking good ka in the eyes of others. Next, share expert knowledge. Not all users sa internet are experts. Some are newbies. Some are just starting with the use of technology. So instead of shaming them of their ability using technology, why not help them cope up with the use of this technology? Okay, kasi dyan ka malagpuon, makaman aram. Okay, so stay humble all the time. Okay. Help those in needs. Okay, next is help keep flame wars under control. Okay, exchanging heated conversation. Okay. Usually, ang flame wars nangyayari sa mga chat rooms, okay, tapos sa mga comments, okay, mga dilawan, mga DDS. Yan na dyan, nag-start ng mga flame wars. Okay, so avoid that. Ignore them na lang. Much better. Next, respect other people's privacy. So what does this mean, this privacy? Okay. Ano ibig sabihin kang privacy? Okay. Sometimes you need to be private, you need to be alone. Okay, not everything about that person can be talked about. Okay, there are things na kaipuhan niya man i-kept privately. Kasi not all things can be pwede mong pagchismisan, Okay, kasi that's a danger, when you are too honest to your friends or to someone, there will come a time na pag nag-iwalay ka mo, all your secrets, mabubulgar yan. Okay, you have to sometimes, keep something for yourself. Do not share everything about yourself. Okay, pag nag-iwalay man ka mo, at least man siya may istorya about you. Okay, may istorya lang kung ano nangyari, etc. Pero much better na friends lang para masaya lahat. Okay? Next, do not abuse your power. If you are a techie person, knowledgeable about computer, internet application, you know how to hack, kaya totoo ka mag-hack ng mga website, mga passwords, FB, etc. So don't abuse it. Use your skills, use your knowledge in a nice way, okay? By helping others. Okay, next is be forgiving of others, people's mistake. Okay. Siguro naman, very self-explanatory man ining the last item, the number 10 item. Okay, here is a safe book for you to consider. Now, when you are online, usually when you are connected sa Facebook, you must think before you post. Bako itong post ka ng post. Okay? Okay, para maging safe, kung abo mong itong igwag maanggot sa imo, baka tamaan sa post mo, gibuon mo ang post mo, double meaning, di nag-isip sinda, baala sinda mag-isip kung para sa inda yan or para kay isa yan. Pero much better than do not post things na it can hurt others. Okay? It can hurt others' feelings or can damage someone's reputation. Okay? So, always think before you post. Next, only connect with friends. Okay, so FB, accept ka na accept. Mahiling mo lang pogi, may abs, accept. Mahiling mo lang may car, accept. Mahiling mo lang may Mio, accept. Okay? Mahiling mo lang makwarta, accept. Okay? Only accept friends na itong friends mo lang sa FB. Mga usual acquaintances. Or pwede mo man i-accept yung itong mga bagong na-meet mo. Okay? To extend itong mga linkages mo. So, pwede naman itong mga pero po itong strangers sa mo, do not accept mga friends requests. Next, be kind to others. Okay? And this is one of the most important. Don't share your password. Kasi a lot of students, magjowa pa lang, magbata-bata pa lang, they share password with one another and they swap SIM card pa nga even cellphone, nagsaswap sila. Just to check whether na igwang kalandian ay na-upload. Okay? So, akong arigito, you have to keep something private to yourself. Okay? Your password should be private to you. Kaya nga niyan, password sa mo yan Okay? In order for you to access some applications online, like your Facebook, you need a password. So, dapat password mo lang is for you lang. Okay? Ang jowa-jowa dyan na ahagado ng password, kalokohan yan. Okay? Kaya ang nagtutubod dyan. Iwal kung iwal yan. Okay? Joke lang. Pero I don't share my password to anyone. Okay? Next is privacy. Somewhat related to password. Now, your set your settings sa Facebook to private. You have to choose. Okay? You have to choose your privacy settings. Ang Facebook ko is na magay ng privacy settings. I can say na magay ng privacy settings. Kasi very private na maray itong mga mga details sa FB or sometimes na talaga akong details na ikakaag. Okay, so I keep it private so that di magamit sa ibang bagay. Okay, lalo na itong identity theft. Masakit na ang pagkamalan at masakit na ang pagbintangan. Okay. Next is hurt. Don't be hurtful towards others. This is something related to the first one, the think before you post. Kasi sometimes, because of anger, hatred, you post things on the social media that can hurt the feelings of others. And nagibo ko man yan, nagibo ko may aram ko man na sa lato, I accept my fault na nakakagibo man ako mga bagay na I'm not perfect. Okay? But at the end of the day, sala ang giyakay ako. So, we must control our emotion, our feelings so that we can't hurt other individual. Okay? So, tuwas-tuwasan tayo ang mga bagay na yan. For the last parting words, okay, this is the golden rule of the etiquette. Do not do or say online what you would not do or say offline. So this is the golden rule for etiquette. Okay, thank you for listening. If you have some questions, queries regarding the topic, you may now ask me habang may oras pa kita.
Hello everyone, Sir Ibarrientos is asking for if you have questions. It is the right time to ask. Thank you.
You may ask na, pwede ka mag-hapot. Okay. I just turned off my, video dahil nag-hang kaya ining browser ko. Any questions from the graduating class? Hindi kaya nga po ko sa sa online eh. Hindi ko alam kung may kaulay ako, mayo.
None, sir.
Personally, sir, I've understand a lot from you.
Ay, wow. Is that a compliment, Mr. Candelaria?
Always, sir.
Okay, so if you don't have any question, thank you for your time, spending your time with me. And I hope you gain some knowledge. At least nakakuha ka man some points about the topic. Thank you so much, graduating class, and good luck to your practice teaching. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you po, sir,
Ibarrientos, for
for the
that
information.
very
Bye.
technical and informative
Bye-bye.
discussion. So what Sir Ibarrientos have discussed was very essential and much updated, right? In today's settings, wherein we are utilizing educational technologies as a companion in executing teaching and learning process in amidst this pandemic. So personally, I really like the tips that Sir Ibarrientos have given us, the SMART, the Etiquette, and the Safe book. And so I hope everybody is jotting down notes, some important details, because for surely it is very helpful. So once again, thank you, sir, for your time. We appreciate you for sharing your knowledge, and rest assured that we keep it in mind. Thank you, sir, and keep safe. All right, so how is everyone? Are you still with us? Okay, great.
Yes.
So let us continue. So coming right up is about awareness on gender and development. And it is a great pleasure for me to introduce our next speaker for today, who is going to talk to us about awareness on gender and development, which is a very sensitive and important discussion that every one of us must be attentive, okay? So our next speaker is a former research extension coordinator and a former gender and development coordinator of CBSUA Sipocot campus. She received numerous awards in the teaching field because of her excellency, and she believed gender advocacy must begin within ourselves, to our respective families, and in our daily relationship with people, regardless of gender identity and sexual orientation. So according to her, promoting gender and development is a responsibility of everyone. So ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait to introduce to all of you our next guest speaker for today. She is an amazing woman, no other than Professor Maria Expedita B. Artiaga. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. We are not hearing any
Ay, okay. Narinig niyo na po ba?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay na po, ma'am. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much.
Sorry. Sige, yung microphone ko hindi naka-on. Sige po. So, again, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Nara, for that nice introduction. To the campus administrator of Pasacao Campus, Prof. Carlo M. Cornejo. To the organizer of this activity, to Hazel Vitalicio, who coordinated with me in order to invite me to become the speaker of this activity. So thank you and good morning to everyone. So my topic is gender and development awareness. But before that, please watch this short video clip. Okay, I hope you already understood the message that the short video clip conveyed. So the short video clip you have watched reflects the existing condition in our society. And some people really dream that change will occur in our society with regards on how the society assigned our gender roles. This condition is due to maybe about gender ideology. Okay. So what is gender ideology? It refers to attitudes regarding the appropriate roles, rights, and responsibilities of men and women in society. So in the Philippine scenario, and even worldwide, we could see that society is the one who designed our roles, our rights, and responsibilities. And the story that you have watched reflects the kind of ideology that's really existing right now in our society. And we hope little by little change will occur because of gender and development. So it may be also due to existing gender hierarchy. So the society allocates rights, responsibilities, and privileges to men and women, boys and girls differently. So gender relations are hierarchical. Men are allocated more power than women. And one thing that reinforced this kind of society is that the patriarchy social system. No, this is an ideology and social system that propagates male supremacy or male power and superiority over women as natural and God given. So within the family, we could say that the last decision is the father. The power is in the father. The mother and the female children just obey the will of their father. So it is so disappointing or very sad situation, but it really existed in our society. So gender involves the differentiation which was attributed by a given culture to women and men in the following aspects: the social roles, the capacities, traits, and characteristics. So siguro balikan lang natin yung pinanood natin, makikita natin yung etong mga sinabi natin ng mga aspects doon sa story. So before I discuss the what is gender and development, here we must know the gender issues that led to the establishment or conceptualizing of gender and development program. So what are the gender issues usually existing in our society, even in our school? Hopefully hindi ito, pero um, may nangyayari pa rin, no? In the office transaction, maybe in decision making, in classroom situations. And this also happens even in our family or wherever we go. So let us try to discuss the different key terms to understand more about these gender issues. So first is gender stereotype. So it is a generalized view about attributes or characteristics or the roles that are ought to be possessed by or performed by women and men. So, meron na kagad ng generalization kung ano ang babae at lalaki. For example, it started in socialization. Pagkapanganak pa lang ng bata, so alam na natin kaagad na ano ba ang inaalam natin kung babae o lalaki ang magiging anak. Kasi ang pinaghahandaan ay kung ano ang mga damit o gamit na bibilhin based sa kung ano ang sex ng bata. So nagsisimula na yung gender socialization sa bata. So usually, nasa isip natin, kapag babae, naka-pink. Lahat ng gamit pink. Kapag lalaki, blue. So dito, nagsisimula yung stereotyping, no? Sa bata pa lang, umi-exist na yung stereotyping. Then, eto example, gender stereotype in social roles. So men said to be a provider. So must provide financially to the family. So hindi pwedeng ang lalaki hindi magtatrabaho, maghahanap buhay para sa pamilya. Kasi nakakahon na siya, naka-assign na sa kanya, no? In-assign ng society na ikaw ang dapat na mag-earn for a living. How about women? So naka-assign na rin yung social role niya to take care of the house and the children. So if ever naman na mag-work, eto yon, yung mga lalaki, they become managers, construction builders kasi they believe that men are strong physically, and engineers because they're good in math and sciences. What about women? So they work as nurse, teacher, secretary. If you look at the assigned job or occupation, we could say that these are just extension of the roles of women in their own home or in their own family. So taking care of students, taking care of patients, being a subordinate secretary, no? Take note ng uh, mga meetings, minutes, record, taking care of the record. So it's an extension of the work of a woman in the family. Well, another thing is, men is being portrayed as leaders. So lumalabas dito yung patriarchy, no? And women are portrayed as follower. Kaya pag-elect ng mga officers, usually ang laging nasa isip natin lalaki. Why? Kasi sasabihin natin sila ay decisive, sila ay talagang born as a leader, born as manager, while yung women laging taking the secondary lead role. So, a secondary role, I mean. So, follower. So, dyan natin makita yung stereotyping in terms with social roles. Another example of stereotyping is stereotyping incapacities. So it is said men is good in math and science, women good in arts and other intellectual pursuits. So makikita natin itong konseptong ito sa pagtuturo nyo bilang teacher to be. Sana ito ang maiwasan natin na ini-stereotype natin yung mga estudyante natin. Okay? So mamaya, no, we will discuss these things. Then, physically strong. Sabi daw sa lalaki, physically strong. Ang babae, physically weaker and fragile. And then, ang lalaki, firm decision makers, while ang babae, fickle-minded decision making. Kaya, pag magboboto, sino ang mag-occupy ng position nito, they prefer men. No, doong mga tao na nandoon pa rin yung stereotyping sa isip nila with regards to the social roles or gender roles of men and women. Sasabihin nila na, lalaki na lang kasi maganda yan mag-desisyon. Strong ang decision niya, na firm. While sasabihin naman, mga babae pa bago-bago ang isipan. But history says na even women can also be a good manager, can be a good administrator at the same time, and they can have a firm decision just like men. But this is the sad story. Ito yung nakikita ng mga taong ini-stereotype. We cannot blame because it is in our culture. But we need to change this kind of conception. Next is gender stereotypes in traits and characters. So, yung mga pag-uugali natin, naka-stereotype din, no? Nakakahon, naka-box, na eto kaagad, wag na tayong mag-wonder. Ito talagang ugali nila. Kasi babae sila. Kasi lalaki sila. So, they said na ang lalaki is an active, ang babae naman passive. So, sinasabi ang lalaki discreet, ang babae loving. So, yung lalaki daw, hirap mag-express ng emotion. Hopefully, hindi naman totoo. No? So, yung babae daw, very showy sa kanyang emotion, sa kanyang love. No? Then, men are aggressive while women are peaceful. Kaya yung babae kapag magulo, sasabihin, oy, parang hindi ka babae. No? Pag sinabihan mo ang isang tao na parang isang lalaki, parang hindi ka lalaki kasi ganyan ka eh. Parang hindi ka babae kasi ganyan ka, umiiral po yung stereotyping natin. Then we have independence. So ang lalaki daw nagpapakita ng independence sa mga decision making, sa lahat ng bagay. While ang babae daw said to be dependent to male. Okay. Then, sabi daw, ang lalaki is strong, while ang babae ay weak. So, kayo magsasabi kung totoo ba? Pero this is the example of stereotyping. These are examples of stereotyping. Then, we could say na a gender stereotype is harmful when it limits women's and men's capacity to develop their personal abilities, pursue their professional careers, and make choices about their lives. So doon nagiging harmful ang stereotype. Kumbaga, hindi natin nabibigyan ng tsansa yung babae man o lalaki para ma-develop yung kanilang abilidad. It is because the society assigned this such roles. Just like for example, sinasabi ang babae as caring, nurturing. So parang dinideprive mo ng mga lalaki ay maging caring and nurturing din. And ang mga lalaki, ang mga babae, dahil sa bahay lang, deprive siya sa power, deprive siya sa leadership. So, yan yung masasabi natin na harmful pag in-apply natin yung gender stereotype in these kinds of situations. Then we have also gender bias. So it is the tendency to prefer one gender over another. O sinong ipopromote? Babae. No, not babae, lalaki. Kasi ganito, ganyan. Huwag na yung babae. Kasi yung babae, manganganak. Pag nanganak, maging unproductive siya. So, lalaki na lang. Kasi yung lalaki hindi nanganganak. So, hindi siya mag-maternity leave. So, tuloy-tuloy niya kanyang trabaho. Pero ang babae, puputol ang kanyang service dahil sa mga anak. So, mababawasan yung kanyang productivity, yung pagiging effective niya sa kanyang trabaho. So, that is gender bias. Okay, so it is a form of unconscious bias or implicit bias, which occurs when one individually unconsciously attributes certain attitudes and stereotypes to another person or group of people. So I hope you are still with me. Nako, ito ang kinakatakutan ko eh. Kapag speaker ako at akong huling speaker, sabi ko, may nakikinig pa ba? But I could see you, okay, you're still 70. Hopefully, hanggang matapos ang ating talk, hindi naman siguro abuting alas 12, nandiyan pa kayo. And I hope even though it's already lunchtime, you still learn from me. But anyway, you can listen. And okay po, sige po. You can listen at the same time learning, okay? So thank you. So another gender bias, so yung pinapakita natin sa illustration, these ascribed behaviors affect how the individual understands and engages with others. How about gender discrimination? Sexual harassment is a form of a illegal gender discrimination. No, kagaya halimbawa yung sabing it's just a joke. But at the same time sabihin natin hindi yun pwedeng joke. It's sexual harassment. And it's a sexual harassment. It's not a joke. Ang problema sa sexual harassment, ang iba, yung victim pa, nagkakaroon ng victim blaming. Sasabihin, konti lang naman, para lang yun. Nagre-reklamo ka na. OA mo naman. So, that's why there are people who were not able to report sexual harassment dahil dito. Pero nagre-reflect yun na yung ganong klaseng pagtrato is so discriminating on the part of women. Okay, but anyway, sabi natin, sexual harassment is not only for women. Di po ba? Kung natandaan nyo, alam ko, si Ma'am Jam nag-sponsor ng activity dito about laws. And ito, sigurado yung sexual harassment, gender-based violence, diniscussion. And I know you learn that sexual harassment is for everyone na pwedeng ireklamo mo yung sexual harassment. Pwede sa mga LGBTQ kapag sexually harass yung tao, kahit siya bakla, tomboy, o anuman, transgen, o anuman ang kanyang gender, pwede siyang magreklamo kung sexually harassed siya. Kasi dinidiscriminate kung ano ang kanyang gender identity. And pwede ang lalaki magreklamo din na sexually harassed siya. Kasi kung si babae nag-move na advanced movement sa kanya, so pwede yung sexual harassment. Kaya lang, konti ang nagre-reklamo o baka wala. Kasi dahil nga sa kultura natin, sasabihin, grabe ka man, kalalaki mong tao, makakapag-advance ba si babae? Gusto mo naman eh. So, yung mga ganun mga judgment, dahil yon sa ating society, sa ating culture. Then, gender discrimination is an equal or disadvantageous treatment of individuals based on gender. So, tingnan natin yung illustration dyan. Diba? Sino nabibigyan ng opportunity, promotion kaagad? Si lalaki. Bakit? Kasi wala siyang hagdan, wala siyang way. Hindi siya natutulungan para makarating doon sa position na yon. Kasi hindi siya binibigyan ng way o ng daan, hagdan, para makarating doon. Ang meron lalaki. So dito nagpapakita na may diskriminasyon. Kaya doon na lang siya. Kasi wala naman na way para siya makaangat. Hindi siya binibigyan ng opportunity. So yon. Okay, of course, with a gender stereotype, with gender bias and discrimination, it will lead to inequality. So what is gender inequality? Allowing people different opportunities due to perceived differences based solely on issues of gender. So, makikita natin dahil sa babae ito, yan, deprived sila. Mayroong mga disparities. So, gender inequality refers to unequal treatment or perceptions of individuals based on their gender. So, syempre, yan ay dahil sa kung ano yung ating ideology, na-influence pa rin ng itong gender hierarchy na meron tayo, na-influence tayo ng itong patriarchy. It arises from differences in socially constructed gender roles. Yung sinabi ko kanina, kung ano nga ba ang naka-assign sa babae na role at ano naka-assign sa lalaki na role. Okay, tingnan natin ito. Part ito ng gender inequality. I hope nakita nyo, pero kung hindi, so basahin ko na lang. So 1 in 3 women worldwide has experienced either physical or sexual violence, mainly by an intimate partner. Ako hindi dinidiscriminate ang babae. So, hindi sila makakaranas ng ganun. So, kung fair ang treatment ng lalaki sa babae, hindi sila makaka-experience ng violence. Kaya nga tayo may vowsy dahil nakakaranas ng inequality ang mga kababaihan. So, another stated here, in some countries, up to a third of adolescent girls report their first sexual experience as being forced. So yung sexual experience nila, hindi galing sa kanilang kagustuhan, kundi sila ay pinilit. Another, domestic workers are among the most vulnerable groups in the global workforce, and women make up 83% of domestic workers worldwide. So, nalalaman naman natin na may mga nabibiktima ng rape, o anong mga abuses dahil lalo na dito sa mga domestic workers. And it is said na the risk of maternal death is 2.7 times higher among women and girls with no education than women with more than 12 years of education. So, nakita natin na napaka-importante yung education sa mga estudyante. Sa mga tao, maging sa kababaihan. And ang kabutihan dito sa Pilipinas, based dito sa gender gap index, hindi tayo malayo. No? Maganda ang rating natin with regards to education. Kasi ito yung compulsory education sa atin, no? And libre pati college, no? Sa public school. So, kaya maraming estudyante na nakakapag-aral talaga up to college. So, that is good for us. But in other countries na grabe pa ang gender inequality, hindi sila sinusuportahan maging sa education, kaya nakakaranas sila ng ganito, na masasabi na yung mas educated talaga, mas somehow, alam nila kung paano alagaan ang kanilang mga anak. Kasi itong kulang ang pinag-aralan o mababa yung kanilang pinag-aralan, hindi nila naranasan yung mga education na kailangan how to take care of their children. And with regards to uh, being a parliamentarian or leadership among women, 22% lang sa buong mundo ang na-occupy ng kababaihan. And sad to say, sa Philippines, ito ang humila sa atin. Lagi tayo nasa top 10 ng gender index gap. No? Gusto sabihin, ito yung mga countries na may gender equality na nakikita. Ang Pilipinas ay maraming taon, ilang taon na rin na masasabi natin nasa top 10 tayo sa gender index, gender gap index. Kasi kahit pa paano siguro it's a product of gender and development. It's a product of the effort of the government. Pero ang humila sa atin sa ngayon, nakalabas tayo sa top 10. Actually, nag-rank 29 ata tayo in terms of politics, political aspects. Kasi sa gender index gap, ang kinoconsider yan yung education, yung health, yung sa work, and sa politics. Bumaba tayo. Based mga 2019, as of 2019, December, na gender index gap, bumaba tayo na nagre-reflect sa panahon ni Duterte kasi, sorry, yung mga maka-Duterte, this is the reality, mas pinapabura niya. Tingnan niyo ang kabinet niya. Mostly mga kalalakihan. So, mas pabor siya. Ang tingnan niyo na naman kay umiiral yung pagiging misogynistic niya kay Vice President, di ba? Gino-joke niya lang, medyo may kabastusan, o bastos na nga, may mga kabastusan minsan na sinasabi siya. Not decent how to treat a certain vice president, second sa kanyang position. Pero, yun. Kaya, hindi lang naman ito nangyayari. Pero noon, mas mataas yung natin, kaya nga nasa top 10 tayo. Kung hindi ko nakakalimutan, ang Ireland, tama ba yung aking isip? Ireland o Iceland? Ireland, ang top 1 sa gender index, gender gap index. So, gusto sabihin, talagang may gender equality sa kanila. Okay? So, sa Africa, ang lagi nakakapasok ang Rwanda. Rwanda. Okay. So, medyo nakalimutan ko yung pero maraming taga-Europe. Tanong ko sa inyo, kasama ba yung US? Kasama ba yung Japan? Itong mga, anong tawag natin, fully industrialized country, hindi po nakasama doon sa top 10 gender index. So, gusto nung sabihin, meron talagang gender gap din sa kanila. Okay, gender-based violence. So, among these, kung titingnan natin yung mga gender issues, yon. Ang nangyayari, nagkakos ito ng gender-based violence. And sexual harassment is part of gender-based violence. No? Male violence against women is a key feature of patriarchy. So, balikan uli natin yung patriarchy ideology. So, yun. Kaya merong mga gender-based violence because male believe that they are powerful than women. So kung na-feel nila na nasa-threat sila doon sa power nito, hinihila nila pababa. So until na ginagawa nila ng mga violence sa kanila para hindi sila mapantayan. Okay. So, meron din ba na gender-based violence sa mga LGBTQ? Meron po. So, kaya itong pinag-usapan natin, hindi naman talaga ito sa babae lang. Pero makikita din natin na yung mga ganitong kaso ay maging sa mga LGBTQ nakakaranas dito. Yung iba na si Jennifer, natatanda natin, isa siyang transgen, pinatay siya. So kung titingnan natin, gender-based violence, pinatay siya ng kanyang karelasyon. I do not know kung dahil na-discover niyang hindi ito tunay na babae or misogynistic siya, hate niya ang hindi, misogynistic hate ang babae. Baka homogenistic siya, baka ano siya doon sa mga ganito, mga transgen, baka may galit siya doon. Okay? So, gender-based violence is the manifestation of women's subordinate position in society. So, yun na yun. Okay, legal basis. Bakit tayo nagkaroon ng gender and development? Ano ang pinagbatayan kung bakit nag-come up ng program ng gender and development? Although sabi natin, isang batayan ay yung mga gender issues na nangyayari sa atin. So, tingnan natin yung mga legal basis na support kung bakit kailangan talaga natin na may pagbabago in terms on how to see women, how to see gender. Okay, so tingnan na po natin. So the 1987 Philippine Constitution provides that no person shall be denied the equal protection of the laws. So that means all of us have the human rights. We have to enjoy the human rights. And no one should deprive that rights. Okay? The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which outlines the rights to which all persons, it provides that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. So ito, isa sa pinagbatayan natin kung bakit umiiral ang human rights dito sa Pilipinas. Okay, meron din tayong additional pa ng mga laws, mga universal laws na nagpo-protection sa bawat gender. So ang CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, was adopted in 1979 by UN General Assembly. So sa CEDAW, it is the International Bill of Rights for Women that defines what constitutes discrimination against women and sets up an agenda to guide governments in dealing all forms of gender-based discrimination. And isa tayo sa signatories dito sa CEDAW. Kaya dahil dito, kailangan natin dalhin itong pinagpirmahan natin sa ating bansa. Okay? So significance of CEDAW for the educational system, it specifically provides for the gender equality measures to eliminate any stereotype concept of the roles of men and women at all levels in all forms of education to reduce female student dropout and enhance female access to educational information. So we have the Magna Carta of Women. Under Chapter 4, Section 13 of the law provides for the equal access and elimination of discrimination in education, scholarships, and training. Okay? So the state shall ensure that gender stereotypes and images in educational materials and curricula are adequately and appropriately revised. So dapat tandaan natin ito kasi magiging magpa-practicum kayo. So iwasan natin yung mga stereotyping. So gender-sensitive language should be used at all times, shall be used at all times. So, yung Yogyakarta principle naman, Principle 16, right to education. So, everyone has the right to education without discrimination on the basis of and taking into account their sexual orientation and gender identity. So, wala dapat tayong iniiwan, wala tayong hindi ina-accept sa school. It is because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. And I believe CBSUA as a whole is observing these things, now observing these principles, because our gender and development is very active to implement these things. Okay, so we will talk now about evolution of women's development. So ano nga ba ang development? It's the process in which someone or something grows or changes and becomes more advanced. So, yun. So, once na sinusuportahan natin yung pag-grow, yung pag-advance ng isang tao, no? Advancement of a certain person. So makita natin na merong development. Ngayon, ang tanong, how about women? So it becomes clear that women were being left out of the development, no? And because of this, nagkaroon ng pagbabago, nag-introduce ng tinatawag na approach na women in development or WID. So this issue, the exclusion of women from development program and approaches. Nakita kasi ng WID na ang mga babae ay itsapwera, no, sa pagboboto, o hindi sila binibigyan ng opportunity noon or very less opportunity at sa iba pang aspeto. So kaya inintroduce ang women in development. And it shows women as group that lacks opportunity to development. Kaya isinulong itong women in development. It was to improve women's access to resources and their participation in development. So, gusto nila na makita naman ang kababaihan sa development. So, yan, pinapasok nila, in-integrate nila ang women into development programs and planning. So this became the starting point of making known to the international community that the sector of women has to be part of programs for development. Kaya na sila, kumbaga itong mga kababaihan, nakilala na rin globally. So may mga nare-recognize din sila, nakakapunta na sila, may representation na rin sila somehow, nagiging party na sila para makinig at maging involved doon sa development. Pero, kaya nga sinasabi na yung panahon ng introduction of WID, UN declared that the decade was the establishment of women in development structures, which is considered the major achievement of the WID. But parang nakita nila na kulang. Yung WID, kulang. And dahil dito, in the latter part of 1970s, adopting a Marxist feminist approach, the main argument of WAD was that women had always been part of the development process. So the work they do, both inside and outside the household, is critical to the maintenance of society. Nandoon na sila eh. So sinasabi, yung integration ng kababaihan only serve to sustain global inequalities. So parang hindi tama, hindi maganda yung inintegrate lang sila. Kasi nakikita nila na nag-exist pa rin yung inequalities, no? So what asserts that women had always been, okay, yun ang sinabi ko kanina. So main focus now of the WAD is on the interaction between women and development processes rather than purely on strategies on integrate women into development. So noon, ininigay lang muna sila. So ngayon, kailangan na maging active sila sa interaction dito sa development processes. Kaya in-establish ang WAD. So WAD, so both women and men as not benefiting from the global economic structures because of disadvantages due to class and the way wealth is distributed. Nandun nga sila globally, pero nakikita na yung distribution of wealth, siguro, and even power ay hindi pa rin pantay. So, dahil dito, ang WAD was being criticized for assuming that the position of women will improve if when international structures become more equitable. So yun yung naging concept ng WAD. But it underplays the role of patriarchy in undermining women's development and does not adequately address the question of social relations between men and women and their impact in the development. So hindi napansin na dapat i-consider nila yung patriarchy. So hanggang hindi mabura itong konseptong ito, patuloy pa rin yung inequality between men and women. So this time in the 1980s, after further reflections on development, it gives rise to God, gender and development. So what's gender and development? So it focuses on the social or gender relations, uh, specifically the divisions of labor. Kasi noon, di ba, pag sinabing babae, ang trabaho is more on the reproductive function. No? Yun. Pangangalaga sa bahay, ang trabaho related pa rin sa extension ng trabaho sa bahay. And deprived sila doon sa power. So sa mga lalaki ganun naman, sila yung they have to earn for a living. So more on the productive part. So sila yung nabibigyan ng mga trainings, nabibigyan ng opportunity for leadership, and therefore more power. So itong gender relations between men and women society ay dapat ma-address, no? Is also the issues of access and control over resources and power. Then, gender equality believe that fairness and equity demands that everyone in society, whether male or female, has the right to the same opportunities to achieve a full and satisfying life. So walang parang boundary, wala nang boundary doon sa mga opportunities. So opportunity must be given to all. Kaya sinasabi, gender and development is about being faithful to the principle that development is for all. So kasabay na po dyan ng LGBTQ uli, ha? Baka sabihin naman, men and women lang. Of course, sa sex kasi yon, male and female. Pero, we always, lalo na ngayon, inclusive na tayo, lagi dyan kasabay na ang sagad, ang LGBTQ, kasabay dapat sa development. Hindi lang straight na babae or lalaki or tinatawag nating heterosexual, kundi maging itong mga kapatid natin na mga LGBTQ. So it is said that women and men have different development needs and interests, which is institutionalized and perpetuated by cultural, social, economic, and political norms. So meron tayong needs and interests na kailangang mabigyan ng pagkakataon na maipakita yung mga potentials natin, na mag-grow tayo. As a result of the project of gender development, nagkaroon sila ng mga projects addressing issues such as violence against women. So makikita natin na sa gender and development, meron tayong gender desk officer. Although previously, yung gender coordinator, gender and development coordinator, siya na at the same time na nag-a-address. So, siya na at the same time yung gender desk officer. But I've learned na magkakaroon na rin ng gender and development officer. So, separated sa role ng coordinator. So, doon sila na-focus para alamin, imbestigahan kung merong mga nalalabag na karapatan, lalong-lalo na mga kabaihan, o maging mga magbabae o maglalaki. So, yon, kailangan imbestigahan ito. And that's why the Gender and Development Desk Officer must be somehow know the basics on how to handle these things, no, about vow. So, tanda pa ba naman natin yung violence against women, di ba? So, violence against women, there are 4 now ways ng violence, pwedeng sexual, emotional or psychological, physical, and economic violence. So, yun. So, Gender and development develop that perspective, and this perspective is that the participatory and empowering. So allowing everyone to participate in all the endeavors, specifically in our school, in our community, and ultimately it will empower them. And next is equitable. So yon, equal opportunities, sustainable. So gender and development believe na dapat yung program na ito tuloy-tuloy hanggang sa kailangan, hanggang sa may nakikita pa tayong gender disparity, hindi pa talaga na isa sa puso at isa sa buhay ng lahat, tuloy-tuloy dapat ang gender and development. And then it must be free from violence, all gender-based violence, and respectful of human rights. Okay? Then supportive of self-determination. Kung anong gusto nating gawin, bigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na mag-venture sa mga bagay na ipapakita natin yung ating potentials. So, ma-actualize yung human potentials natin. So, na walang barrier, walang hindrance sa kung anong gender meron tayo. So, gender and development is working against gender biases, gender discrimination, gender violence to achieve gender equality and gender equity. Nandiyan pa ba kayo? Ay, nagbawas na. Yung 70 naging 63 na. Okay, anyways, I'm still thankful that there are still 63 people listening at the moment. The next, four premises of God. God is not a war of the sexes. So, tandaan natin yan. Hindi tayo nag-aaway-away tungkol sa kung sino tayo at sino ang mas may kapangyarihan na sex. God is not anti-male. Okay? Oo, may mga batas. Makikita natin, maraming batas na, lalo na yung VAUSI, siyempre pang babae talaga yon. Pero it doesn't mean na yung lalaki set aside na. Kung may rape na kaso, magbabae, maglalaki, meron din. Di ba? So, yung mga, kung hindi ma-address ng special law, kagaya ng mga anti-sexual harassment law, VAUSI, Safe Spaces Act, ay ma-address naman ito ng penal code. Okay, para sa mga lalaki. So both men and women are victims of gender inequality. All the victims are more often women than men. So admit natin, mas maraming violence nangyayari sa babae. So both women and men have a share in the struggle for gender equality. Tama yun. Lahat tayo ay may struggle dyan. Kasi dahil nga doon sa stereotype, minsan gusto natin itong ma-venture, yung society natin, yung culture natin sasabing, pagtatawanan ka lang. So kaya hindi mo kayang gawin o nahihiya ka kasi pagtatawanan ka lang. Kaya nagkakaroon ka ng struggle for gender equality dahil nakokontrol yung kagustuhan mo because of our culture, because of the social ideology existing. So the goal of God is God seeks to equalize the status and condition of and relations between and men by influencing the process and output of policy making, planning, budgeting, implementation, and monitoring and evaluation so that they would deliberately address the gender issues and concerns affecting the full development of women. So nakakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na gender mainstreaming. So para ma-mainstream ito, meron tayong yearly, si God coordinator ninyo ay gumagawa ng gender and development plan and planning and budgeting. So dito nakalagay kung ano yung mga gender issues na umiiral sa school, nakikita sa community, gender issues, causes ng gender issues, and then ano yung plano? How to address those gender issues? So through activities and identifying what office and who are the people responsible for this. So with this gender and development planning and budgeting, organized lahat yung activities na nag-a-address sa gender issues. Okay? Nag-stammer na ako. Pasensya. So, nag-a-address sa gender issues. So, yon. So, kaya napakaganda na meron talagang God plan and budget and in-approve pa yan ng Philippine Commission of Women. And of course, yung CHED din. Tinitingnan din yun. So, with that, nasisiguro na yung mga implementation ng mga activity ay as a response sa mga nakikitang gender issues. So, yun yung napapaloob sa gender and development. So, kaya hindi yung activity na naisip lang na mag-party-party tayo, gender and development na hindi po. Kasi, kailangang nakalagay dyan na mabuti kung ano yung gender issues na kailangan i-address. Okay? So, in that way, ma-achieve natin yung pinaka-goal. No? Okay, so, yan yung gender mainstreaming is the Philippine government's strategy to making agencies work for women's empowerment and gender equality. So, ang pinaka-goal dito ay ma-achieve natin yung gender equality and equity and women's empowerment. Bakit women's empowerment? Kasi, ang lalaki, empowered ng dati. Historically, because of the patriarchal system, empowered na sila. Nandun na sila eh. So, kailangan lang natin yung mga babae maiangat na maging kahit paano, maging pantay yung opportunity. Kasi nandun na yung power, yung leadership, yung mga opportunities sa mga trainings, nandun na sa kanila. Scholarship, nandun na sa kanila. Ang mga kababaihan, marami na hindi pa nakakaangat dahil naka-stereotype pa sila. So, through gender mainstreaming, ini-expect na may angat sila at makapantay naman kahit papaano dito sa mga kalalakihan. Okay? So, anong gender equality? So, it implies that the interests, needs, and priorities of both women and men are taking into consideration. So, 11:42, but madali na rin naman ako. Sige. So, another, recognizing the diversity of different groups of women and men. So, diverse, mga lalaki, mga babae, iba-iba yan. Pero, kailangan irespeto natin, no? Anuman, sino man sila, anuman gender, anuman social class nila, they should be treated equally. Next, gender equality is not a women's issue, but should concern and fully engage men as well as women. So, hindi lang po women issue, sabi ko nga kanina. Hindi women issue lang. Kundi, both men and women ang dapat maka-enjoy ng sinasabing gender equality. It means that women's and men's rights, responsibilities, and opportunities will not depend on whether they are born male or female. What else? How about equity? Anong kaibahan sa equality sa equity? So, eto, tingnan natin. It means giving more opportunities to those who have less and those who are historically and socially disadvantaged based on their needs for them to operate on a level playing field. Focusing on the needs of women does not mean discriminating against men or putting them at a disadvantage. Sana nakita niyo itong maliit na illustration na naririto. So, nagre-reflect ito ng equality and equity. So, yung equality dito, gusto silang pumitas ng bunga ng kahoy. Kaya lang, iba-iba yung height ng mga bata na naririto. So, ang equality, sige, bigyan ko kayo, equal size, equal na laki, at kayo may tungtungan. Lahat binigyan. So, equal yon. Pero, ang equity, i-take of consideration yung needs. Ito, mas mababa ito. kung ito lang yung ibibigay mo, pareho noon, hindi siya makakaabot ng prutas. So, kailangan mo dagdagan, tatasan mo yung ibibigay dito kasi mababa siya para makuha niya yun. Eto, mataas na, okay, ibigyan mo ng medyo mababa lang kasi abot-abot niya. So, yun yung tinatawag na equity. Sana nakuha niya yung point about equity and difference and gender equity and gender equality. Kagaya ng CR, for example, equality. Lahat tayo ay kailangan makaramdam ng comfort having CR. So, binigyan ng CR. Okay. But, dapat papasok yung equity. Dapat, ang babae kasi may mga needs na wala yung mga lalaki. May monthly period ang babae. May mga dala-dala silang mga, alam na natin, mga sanitary napkins and the rest. Ang lalaki wala. So, sa kanila, paggamit ng CR, kung meron ng ganyan na bowl o kaya yung urinal diretso na. Ang babae, may mga ipapatong pa pen and the rest. So, kaya kailangan talaga yung design ng CR ay fitted doon sa pangangailangan ng babae. So, yun tinatawag nating equity. Naintindihan po ba? Naintindihan po ba natin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay po.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige po. Salamat. So, ito din, example dito, nakita natin equality and equity. So, fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. Okay? May include equal treatment that is different but is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. So, it will lead to gender empowerment, to give power and to promote self-actualization of both gender. So, kung may gender equality, may gender equity, so it will empower both men and women, or all, empowered all. So, in order to achieve this, kailangan meron tayo nito, being gender sensitive. Bago mo i-apply yung equality, yung equity like that, kailangan maging sensitive ka. And that's what we call gender sensitive. The ability to recognize gender issues. So kayo, magiging kayong teacher. Sa nyo ng setting ng classroom, kailangan nakikita mo kung may gender issues o wala sa classroom. At kung yung mga ginagamit mong material ay nag-a-address para maiwasan yung gender issues. So, pag gender sensitive ka, you are beginning to become gender aware. Nagiging aware ka na. Ano naman ang gender awareness? It implies the ability to identify problems arising from gender inequality and discrimination even if these are not apparent on the surface. Kahit hindi mo pa masyadong nakikita, pero na-anticipate mo na, may nakikita ka ng problema with regards to inequality and discrimination. So, nagiging aware ka na. Kung sensitive ka, then magiging aware ka na rin. Kasi na-identify mo kung ano ang mga gender issues. And syempre, you should be gender responsive. You must take action to correct gender bias and discrimination so as to ensure gender equality and equity. So, would-be teacher, hindi ka lang sensitive na amoy mo na merong ganitong mangyayari. Hindi ka lang maging aware na ganyan talaga ang problema na mag-a-arise na, no? Kundi kailangang bigyan mo ng tamang action sa nakikita mong mga issues, gender issues. So, action. No? Hindi, nakita mo, pero wala kang ginawa. So, hindi ka magiging gender responsive. So, sa mga nagpa-practicum sa atin, ito ang dapat na mga, basic na bagay na dapat nandiyan sa atin. Kung gusto natin i-embrace ang gender and development. So, yung mga key concepts sa sinabi ko, inyong pagkatandaan nyo, yun ang dapat yung i-apply at all times. Okay, so what is gender socialization? Okay, una, socialization is the process by which social norms, roles, and expectations are learned and internalized. Was gender socialization is the process by which norms and expectations in relation to gender and learned by women and men. So, sabi ko kanina nga, simula bata pa, meron ng gender socialization habang lumalaki ang bata, naso-socialize siya doon sa mga concept na to, sa ideology, na dapat tayo, alam natin kung ano ang kamulatan ng bata, no? Paano natin iso-socialize yung bata? Kailangan ba talaga makalagay sa isip nila na sa kanilang pananamit may color coding? Kasi kung iba yung damit niya, hindi siya babae, hindi siya lalaki. Kailangan po ba talaga ito? Or it doesn't matter. So, kailangan i-develop natin sa kanila socialization. So, and gender socialization start from the family, school, and in other institutions. Let us try just a simple application of God at home. So sa bahay natin, kung natuturuan natin, namulat na tayo ng mga concept ng gender and development, pwede natin bilang magulang, o kung hindi pa tayo magulang, would be parent, ito ang dapat nating i-apply, no? Shared parenting, shared home management, shared decision making. Tingnan natin. Okay, shared parenting, taking care of the children. So sabihin, hindi lang yung babae ang mag-aalaga kay baby, magpapalit ng lampin, etc. Or mag-aalaga ng mga growing children. Even the role of father, pwede rin, no? So, magkatulong sila. So, napaka ganda kung makikita natin yung mga parents natin o tayo, kung nagpapamilya na tayo ngayon, ganun yung nangyayari sa ating pamilya. And helping their children in their homework. So, hindi lang trabaho ni nanay ang magturo. So, kailangan responsibility ng both father and mother, yung take care, pag-assist sa mga bata sa pag-aaral. Lalo na ngayon, na pandemic, yan, yung pagtuturo, pag-answer ng module, so pareho sila may responsibility and disciplining their children. Hindi pwede na katakutan yung isa. Dahil yung isa lang ang disciplinarian, yung isa hindi. So, hindi dapat. So, pareho sila firm, pareho sila may policy, same way of implementation, para ang tingin din ng mga anak, pantay din sa kanilang mga magulang. Walang biases pa rin. Okay, shared home management. So, at ba tayo, babae, lalaki, mga anak na lalaki, anak na babae, marunong ba nito? No? We know how to fix our house, clean the house, going to market, cooking, preparing the table, washing the dishes, doing laundry. So, yung division of labor ba ninyo ay para sa lahat. Hindi yung nakadesignate si lalaki o ikaw lang yung ano ba, kay lalaki. Doon, maggamas ka sa labas. Magsakdo ka. Magkarpintero ka. The rest, kay babae. Kasi yan mga yung nakalinya na pambabae. So, hindi pwede, no? So, kung makikita ang saya-sayang tingnan na both know how to do those chores. Next, share decision making. So, importante na may family council. Hindi patriarchy. Kasi yung patriarchy, walang family council dyan. Pag sinabi niya, go na yun. No? May tututol, wala. Pero sa family council, kinukonsulta mga anak, yung asawa, and then come up to a decision. So that's shared decision making. Giving permission to children. So yung pagbibigay ng permission ay dahil ginusto at after evaluating the pros and cons, ginusto nila na makakabuti ito sa kanilang anak, pareho sila nagbigay ng go signal. And deciding for the affairs of children. So, lahat ng mga endeavors ng children, dapat alam nila. So, parang walang i-blame. Kasi pareho sila responsible sa lahat ng action. So, this is a simple way, pero feel ko, makakatulong ito sa inyo. Mag-reflect tayo Kumusta ang family natin? Kung iba ang setup, start from you na lang. No? Pero kung kaya niyong lambing-lambingin ng magulang, unti-unting introduce yung bago, why not? Kasi mas masaya na lahat may representation kaysa isa lang. Okay. Dito, ito na, patapos na ako. Pinasok ko yung gender and development in school kasi kayo magtuturo. So, ito simple lang, dito masyadong complicated kasi alam ko may mga topic about teaching and I'm sure bibigyan din ito ng teacher nyo about genderized na naman. Okay? So, ito. Gender fair language aims at reducing gender stereotyping and discrimination by making language gender sensitive. So, when you teach, use gender fair language. Okay? Halimbawa, ano? Replacing male masculine forms with gender neutral language. Sample lang ito, pero pwede kayong mag-research, alamin ninyo kung ano pa yung iba, no? For example, avoid yung may mga man. So, wag na natin gamitin yun, okay? Avoid the term layman and use instead layperson or non-specialist. Avoid manhood, use adulthood, maturity, human. Manpower, adding resources, staff, personnel. Chairman, gawin mong chairperson. Congressman, congresswoman, gawin mong representative. Freshman, gawin mong freshies, first-year students. No? So, wag na sabihin freshman. Gawin mong freshies or first-year students na nga. Natatandaan ko, isa na sa mga naging speakers namin sa isa sa mga seminars na napag-attend ko. Sabi na, dinidiscourage kami, o sinabihan kami, huwag nyo lang gamitin yung mga MC dyan, no? Yung mga mahilig mag-MC. Huwag nyo gamitin na yung sinasabing, ladies and gentlemen. Para bagang napakagandang pakinggan nga naman, di ba? Ladies and gentlemen. Pero kung titinan mo, may bias yun. Ladies, ang katapat, men. Hindi di ba? Dapat men, saka women. Ladies, pag sinabing ladies, parang nag-describe ng parang maganda, parang soft-spoken, mga ganun. Parang hindi strong equivalent to men kasi yung level, hindi pagkapantay eh. Dapat women, saka men. And another thing, bakit yung lalaki may gentle? Ang babae, hindi gentle. Diba? So, kaya, mas mabuti, huwag niyong gagamitin. Ako, take this as an advice. Kung gusto natin maging gender responsive tayo, pero kung hindi nyo i-take, wala tayong magagawa. Pero mas mabuti nang gagawin nyo, sabihin nyo, my dear students, my colleagues, parents, address directly kung sino yung audience nyo. Huwag nyo nang lagyan ng ladies and gentlemen kasi hindi siya gender friendly. So just take that as an advice sa mga nag-MC. So, classroom management. Okay. Yung assigning of group, boys and girls together in a group. So, dapat yun yung ideal. Wag yung, grupo ng lalaki, grupo ng babae. May contest tayo sa klase. So, pag ginawa mo yon, nag-create ka ng boundary sa babae at lalaki. So, nagkakaroon ng competition, yung pagiging lalaki at pagiging babae nila. So, you have to group them in boys and girls in one group because we believe that both girls and boys have the abilities, have the potentials, and have the knowledge and intelligence in which they could share to make the activity productive or worthwhile. So, may ko-contribute lahat. Saka do not assign kung sino yung leader. Lalaki, mga leaders. Hindi. So, dapat sila mismo ang mag-a-assign kung sino ang gusto nilang maging leader. And dapat rotation para makikita natin na may babae at lalaki. Kasi lahat naman ay may potential. May develop yung leadership ng bawat isa. So, task given by teacher. Okay, baka naman ang gagawin natin pag sa laboratory, yung gagawa ng mga experiment, yung magdi-demo, lalaki. Kasi magaling sila sa math, magaling sila sa science. Yung babae, extension ng role nila sa bahay, o kayo magliligpit ng mga laboratory equipment after kayo maghuhugas. So, it should not be the case. So, ibigay pareho. No? So, that's task given by teacher. So, in discipline, pareho din. So, wala yun na dahil ini ngayon maring talalaki, okay lang yung magparalamyar dyan. Ang mga babae, dapat tigisa na sa laog. So, hindi pwede. Kung in-impose mo yung discipline, not going out during the class, then it's because that is for their safety and it's the policy of the school. And your policy, for example, in the classroom. Hindi dahil sa, kasi kayo babae, delikado kayo. Ang lalaki, walang mawawala sa kanila. So, they can go out anywhere. So, dapat pantay. Ano po? And then, balik tayo sa gender fair language. Maliban doon sa pag-use ng gender fair language, maging sensitive tayo. Huwag natin sabihin, bakla, o tumboy. Alam naman nila na bakla sila at tumboy. Use them by their, call them by their names. Tawagin mo na lang sila sa pangalan nila. Gusto nilang itawag sa kanila. Huwag mong itatawag yung kanilang kung ano sila. Huwag niyong ililabel yun. Kasi tao pa rin sila. Hindi naman talaga yung ganun. Sa babae, lalaki, tinatawag ba natin ganito? Mostly hindi. Pero pag ganyan sa mga umboy, bakla, lalo na sa bakla, bakla, ano ka na bakla? So, kahit alam naman nila bakla at accepted naman nilang ganun, but hindi kailangan yun. Kasi mas maganda is music sa kanilang ears, yung kanilang pangalan. Para naiintindihan natin. So, maging sa instructional materials, so kailangan tingnan natin yung textbook na ginagamit natin. Tingnan natin kung may mga gender discrimination, gender biases. So, kailangan wag nating ilalagay basta-basta yan sa inyong mga instructional materials. I-edit nyo, ayusin nyo, pagbigay nyo sa estudyante, okay na siya. Walang biases. Yung mga ginagamit, so yung words, yung gender fair language, should be used in your instructional materials. Yung mga pictures na ginagamit natin, so wag kayong magpapakita, papakita kayo ng police at papakita lalaki. Picture ng police officer, no? Hindi policeman, wala hindi policewoman, police officer. Yun yung gender fair. So, para may pakita mo yon, kumuha ka ng picture ng babae at lalaki, no? Na police officers. So, nandito makikita natin na pantay. So, pag napakita tayo ng chef, babae at lalaki yung picture ng chef. So, kung may mga ginagawa, ano man mga activities, kung magpapakita tayo, para na-inculcate sa isip ng mga bata na pareho pala pwedeng gawin ng lalaki at babae itong occupation o itong task. Baka naglilinig ng harong, nakikita lang si babae, si mama naglilinig. And maraming mga, ano yung tawag doon, may mga advertisement, commercials na makikita natin yung gender biases. So, please be gender sensitive naman. Pag nanonood kayo sa TV, tingnan ninyo. Mag-judge kayo. Kung ito, wow, gender friendly to. Maganda yun, no? Like, shared parenting, nakikita natin, maganda yun. Pero kung makikita natin, paglilinis si babae, si lalaki itong trabahong ito. So, try to change this concept to our children, to our students. Tapos magsisimula dapat sa atin. Of course, sasabihin ko sa inyo, hindi madali. Hindi madali yung kinasanayan na natin, yung paggamit natin ng gender fair language. Minsan nakakalimot tayo. Pero, dapat maging conscious lang tayo para unti-unti ma-adapt natin ito. Okay po ba? Okay. So, at the end, we have to create inclusive learning environment, give fair recognition regardless of gender, use gender fair language, address student properly, appropriately, use inclusive expressions, treat, yung inclusive expressions, wala yung biases, no? Para sa lahat yon. So, treat all with tact and sensitivity. So, alam natin makaka-offense sa isang gender, ang sasabihin mo, huwag mo nang sabihin. And that's being tactful, no? And being sensitive. Matatapos na ako. So, as a conclusion, to create a gender-sensitive and responsive learning environment, We must learn to respect everyone, regardless of their gender identity, sexual orientation, and expression, because all of us are human beings with human rights. And at the end point, we will be able to achieve equality, equity, and ultimately empowerment. So thank you very much. May katanungan po ba? Hello, tapos na po
Hello
ako.
everyone. If you have questions, I guess we don't have any questions. Anyone who has a question in this participant? Okay. So in that
Siguro,
case, let me have. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Oh.
siguro gutom na. Gutom na sila, okay. Anyways, I hope yung mga binigay kong input sa inyo, sana naman makatulong sa inyo sa pag-practicum ninyo. Good luck sa inyong lahat sa practicum ninyo. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Artiaga, for gracing the event today, for that very enlightening and eye-opening discussion about awareness and gender development, which we believe is very vital to be heard and speak about the issues in the society today in terms of different preferences and beliefs.
Thank you so much.
And because as we all know, all throughout the centuries, gender equality has always been one of the main issues in our society. So Ma'am Artiaga discussed about stereotyping and gender bias, wherein sometimes unconsciously we are depriving someone's dignity. So there are some important factors that needs to be considered, right? So in this diverse world that we are living, we have to be aware of our responsibilities and actions, because according to Ma'am Artiaga, promoting gender and development is a responsibility of everyone. So we are very grateful, ma'am, and honored that you spend your time with us, addressing concerns and encouraging us to be the best version of ourselves in spite of diversities. So once again, thank you, ma'am, and God bless and keep safe always.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So now we are in our, we were having a lunch break. So be back at 1 p.m. for the registration, and make sure there's no registration, okay? So be back at 1 p.m. same time, same place. My name is Raz, and we have here Miss Bayonito as your Master of Ceremony for today. Thank you so much for attending, and meeting adjourned.